Clemson, South Carolina. There's a lot of orange out there. Watch out if you're a Hurricane fan. And if you're a top 20 team, if you get beat on the road, you get your own headstone over by the practice field, as Miami got a year ago when Clemson beat them down in the Orange Bowl. Can Clemson make it 2 in a row, or Miami get their payback today? Say every time's like the first time, like being on top of the world. A feeling you can't explain and you'll never forget. You're not just taking yourself, you're taking your team and your hometown down the field in Death Valley. Will the Miami Hurricanes be the 13th victim in the last 14 games at Death Valley? We find out today on ABC Sports. Crunch time. A player's best friend or worst nightmare. Every pass, every catch, every run could be the difference between a win or a loss. For the Clemson Tigers, crunch time has been their time. The men of Death Valley have risen to the occasion twice already on this young football season. For the Hurricanes of Miami, a different story. Missed opportunities and a crunch time meltdown led to heartbreak in week 1. The Canes are looking for redemption. Can the Tigers weather the storm? It's an ACC battle next. Memorial Stadium, they call it Death Valley, and then they welcome you to it. Frank Howard Field will be a hot one today. Welcome to the BCS Spotlight Game presented by ADT. Our matchup this afternoon, the 13th ranked Miami Hurricanes against the number 20 Tigers of Clemson. Welcome everybody. I'm Brad Nessler. As always, my partner is Bob Greasy. Bob, we've done a lot of Miami games over the years. This is unfamiliar territory for them. They're in the top 20, but they're 0-1. Well,
but they're still in the ACC race, and they're in the national championship race. Larry Coker said this week, he says, I'm more proud of this team. I feel better after this year's loss to Florida State than I did last year after a win at Florida State. He's got a young quarterback, though, that's making a tough start. At Tallahassee 2 weeks ago and at Death Valley, that's tough to go. He really impressed me a couple weeks ago, though, in his play against FSU.
Well, you talk about getting sacked 9 times, a school record, but he hung in there. He was tough throughout, and he'll have another tough assignment here today. Clemson, we talk about strange situations. They're the top 20, and they're 2-0, and these fans are just clamoring for a good team.
Well, and Tommy Bowden doesn't know how good this team can be. He said it's a totally new team. He's got a new offensive coordinator, a new defensive coordinator, and all new terminology. So it's all new. But the one thing that's not new,
good quarterback,
is this quarterback that is starting his 32nd ball game, and it's playing better this year. Last year, a ton of interceptions. This year, he's taking care of the ball.
He's the undisputed leader. He says he loves the new offense. It's good when you get help from your friends like your offensive line and especially your backfield. With more on that, third member of our team, Lynn Swan. Swanee.
Thank you, Brad. You know, if you've got a Tiger in your tank, it's a good thing. Well, Clemson has 2 Tigers in the tank. They've got a running back, Merriweather. Reggie, he is unbelievable. He gained 114 yards against Miami last year. He's the guy with the most experience coming back. But then they've got a freshman. His name is James Davis. He wears number 1, and he'll be starting this afternoon. He broke in with a 100-yard game against Maryland. They say when you talk about his style and what he can do, they think greatness is just around the corner. On a hot day like this, there's nothing better than having 2 running backs who are competitive and can get the most out of each other, Brad.
Swanee, you've almost got a tiger by the tail right behind you. It is a warm, warm day. Has been all week here in the South. It's 92 degrees. It won't cool off till at least after halftime. And it could take its toll, but both these teams at least are used to the heat.
Exactly. Clemson having an opponent come in here, most of the time this would be an advantage for them. I don't think it will be with Miami. They're used to this.
Miami won the toss and deferred, so kicking off, Brian Monroe, Dwayne Coleman, and Kelvin Grant are back deep for the Clemson Tigers, who'll get the ball first. And here's the kick, and it's a good one, as it's going to go out of the corner of the end zone. And it'll be a touchback, and Clemson will work from its own 20-yard line. Under the leadership of that guy, 6'5", graduate, student now, 5th-year senior quarterback out of Duluth, Georgia. Played at Chattahoochee High School there between Duluth and Alpharetta. Just down the road a piece, about an hour and a half.
78% completion percentage this year. Last year it was 51%.
Last year, 17 interceptions and only 7 touchdown passes after the sensational 2003 year he had. Still, many people feel if he keeps playing like this, he could be the top quarterback in the ACC before it's all done, and he already holds 36 Clemson school records.
Yeah. That Miami defense has seen these types of quarterbacks. That's what they're saying.
And they're getting ready to come after him probably on first down. There's a play action. Whitehurst wants it all in the first play of the ball game. And almost had it. Chancey Stuckey laid out for it. It's just off his fingertips. Pretty good coverage back there by Marcus Maxey. Let's take a look at our Ameriprise starting lineups. And for the Clemson Tigers, here's the guys that can eat some barbecue. Richardson and Pilgrim and Fry, Bennett and Dukes. The backs and receivers, Davis, who Swanee talked about, is the freshman. Jackson, the fullback. Downer's a big tight end. We'll see a lot of two tight ends today. Kelly and Stuckey, who just missed on that one, the wide receivers. Now Clemson will go without a huddle. They don't even huddle ever, even near the goal line. But it's not necessarily a hurry-up offense, as you've seen as we've set their lineups. Whitehurst now in the gun. Miami's going to bring a blitz. Whitehurst got a man out in the flat. It's the fullback, and he's going to get a first down. And it went right where the blitz came from. Perfect call. Steven Jackson, the fullback, rumbles for 15 yards. Defensively for Miami, always good, and always good up front. Pata, Baraka Atkins, Harris, and Thomas Carroll. The linebacking core with Tavares Gooden injured. Rocky McIntosh takes over. Davis and Beeson round out that crew. And in the secondary, maybe not quite as good as they used to be, but they're always good back there. Jennings, Merriweather, Street, and Marcus Maxey.
Of course, they're missing Anthony Reddick, who was their outstanding sophomore and a starter at free safety.
First down, Clemson now at their own 35-yard line. And the give, and there's a 5-yard loss in a hurry. Thomas Carroll, coming off that defensive end spot, puts the hit on the freshman Davis.
Clemson's first two plays were textbook. This one was not. The first play, a long pass down the middle, sending a message. You better play the deep ball. The second one was a blitz against Miami. As you called it, they blitz from the right side, and you throw into the blitz because somebody's got to cover that back out of the backfield.
First two plays were textbook. That one was coloring book. Didn't work very well. Second down, 14. Whitehurst, quick drop, looks right, and then comes back across the middle again, trying to hit his tight end, Bobby Williamson, and that one's incomplete. It'll bring up third down and long.
Well, for Clemson, Whitehurst must stay cool on a very hot day and under a lot of pressure from these Hurricanes. And Miami, they have a dominant defense, but must not allow the big plays. The first play of the game, they did just that. Of course, Clemson was trying to get a big play. Miami didn't allow it.
Clemson 40% on their third downs through 2 games. They got a third down and long here, though. 3rd and 14. Harrell and Davis flanking Whitehurst in the shotgun. He has time. Deep out, almost intercepted. Might have been short of the first down had Chancey Stuckey been able to pull it down, but it was Devin Hester back there in the coverage, a nickelback. He'll see a lot of action as a return man, too. In fact, he'll trot back there right now because it's time to punt.
Yeah, you're not going to beat the Hurricanes if you get in 3rd and long passing situations all day.
And there is Devin Hester. Cole Chasen set to punt. He had one go over his head. And the win over Maryland last week, they had a little trouble with some of their long snapping situations. Colin Leonard will snap here. This one's perfect. Oh, but they got close to him. He got the kick away and almost hit one of the Miami players. Does take a Clemson bounce and out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. While we've got a moment before Miami goes on offense, let's check in with John in New York.
Brad, with the Taco Bell update, San Diego State facing the Ohio State Buckeyes. Buckeyes coming off that disappointing loss to Texas. This is the first play from scrimmage. Kevin O'Connell to Brett Swain, and he goes in for the touchdown. They miss the point after. 6-0 San Diego State with the lead.
No score here as Miami now works from its own 36-yard line. Good field position. And straight up the middle for a gain of about 4 is Tyrone Moss, the tailback for Miami. Miami led by Kyle Wright, sophomore at Danville, California. Second career start, and as Bob said, that first career start's a tough one when you got to play Florida State.
Well, and he's getting a tough way to start. All those other great quarterbacks that came out of Miami, they didn't have to start on the road at Florida State and then at Death Valley where it's hot and it is loud in this stadium, and that makes a huge difference.
Larry Coker and Miami Hadn't lost an opener in 10 years. Not necessarily all of those, Larry. He's only in his 5th season. Here's Wright. Play action bootleg. Throws it out complete. And he's got it out. Looks like a first down to Quadrant Hill, his fullback. And that will be a first down for Miami. That quiets the crowd momentarily. Our Ameriprise starting lineups. Here's the big fellas up front. Winston back from the injury of a year ago. McMeans, Walschlager, Tella, and Butler across the front wall for Miami. Moss, the tailback, he's a little bit banged up. Quadrant Hill, the fullback, just made that catch. Olsen caught 8 balls last week. Moore and Sonoris Moss are the wide receivers. Moore the big target at about 6'3", 6'4". 2 tight end set right now as Buck Ortega comes in to join the group. Just inside their own 47-yard line. That's where the Hurricanes have a first down. Moss, and he's wrapped up for a loss. Up 2, at least, maybe 3. Trey Tate on the defensive line made the stop for Clemson. And while Tate was not a starter, he's in there in a hurry and makes a big play. But normally, the big guys up front are Bennett and Clark, Groover and Adams. Good on the ends in Bennett and Adams. Jermaine Billy, Anthony Waters, and Nick Watkins, the linebacking core. The secondary, Ty Hill, one of the speedsters in the whole country. Gaddis Fudge and Sergio Gilliam round out the secondary for the Clemson Tigers. They're only going to call that a loss of a long yard, so it's 2nd down and 11. Kyle Wright, empty backfield as he's in the gun with 4 wideouts and a tight end. 5 in the pattern for him as he zips it down the middle, and it's incomplete. It was close to being intercepted by Anthony Waters, the middle linebacker. Let's check the game plan going the other way, Bob.
Well, second start for Kyle Wright. The offensive line must regain control and help him out a little bit. And for Clemson, Death Valley, it is hot, it is loud, and they've got a few surprises they're going to throw at this Miami Hurricane offensive line and quarterback early in the ballgame.
They might throw it right here in Death Valley on a 3rd and 11. As Bob said, it's loud, and everybody's up already. It's going to be a long day. Right, trouble, got him, down he goes, and it's Donnell Clark. 9-yard loss on the sack. Punting time for Miami.
Young quarterback's got to get rid of the football. That was a coverage sack. He's either got to eject himself and get out of there or throw it away.
Ryan Monroe will have to punt it away, and Chancey Stuckey, who already has a touchdown on a punt return this year, number 2, back deep for Clemson.
And Miami had a punt block a couple weeks ago at Florida State.
Monroe took a long time, but he got a beauty. Stuckey's waiting on it. No fair catch, and he paid the price. Wow. He took one in the chest from Devin Hester. So Hester, on a lot of those special teams as a return man, coming down in a hurry on the coverage here. He knows what this feels like. He's been on the receiving end himself. Rob Spence with the headset, the first-year offensive coordinator for the Clemson Tigers. He's got some unique approaches, Bob.
Yes, he does. One of which is offensive linemen never are in a 3-point stance, only a 2-point stance. Ask him how many other universities use that. He says, we're the only one beside Toledo, where I just came from.
That's where he came from. And we got a timeout taken by Clemson. A little confusion coming out of the timeout. We'll take one with him. 11:06 to go, first quarter. Tigers on offense against Larry Coker's defense when we come back. I know one thing, Bob, as a fan, if I'm a Clemson fan, calling a timeout after a timeout, something I wouldn't want to see.
No, that's probably some wrong play call. Sometimes it's the defense, what you weren't expecting the personnel, but Miami had regular personnel in there that time.
The tight end Williamson in motion. Whitehurst, full blitz. Slip screen, got it, completes, got his man on the run. First down and then some, out to the 35-yard line. So that one worked to perfection. Every time Miami's blitzed, or at least a couple of times, Charlie Whitehurst has had the right answer, and he got it to Chancey Stuckey for a 21-yard gain. And
Rob Spence calling the plays. Says we're going to run this slip screen 5 or 6 times a game. They've got a different, several different little quirky things off of it, but that's the first one they want to show you, and a great time to run it. A blitz and there's nobody left downfield.
Boy, they look like there was 13 white jerseys going after Charlie Whitehurst that time. First down just inside the 35. Stuckey in motion. Here's the give. Davis, and Davis is finding tough sledding against that speedy Miami defensive front. A loss on the play again. Kareem Brown in on the stop. So we talked about a little bit about the two-point stance that you don't see anywhere except Toledo, which is where Rob Spence came from. And Swanee talked to Rob about why he thinks the two-point stance is advantageous.
Yeah, I just asked him, give me the 3 most important reasons why you put them down in the two-point stance, and here are the reasons he gave. You know, he says they see the problem because they have better vision, you know, allows better communication when they talk up at the Lau Stadium, and advantage of being different. The defense won't see another team in a two-point stance, and they're not quite sure how to react to him.
Here's an empty backfield as Whitehurst, the quick drop, looks to his left now, lofts one, incomplete, intended for Aaron Kelly, his tallest receiver. Whitehurst trying to make an adjustment. What he wanted to go to wasn't there.
Well, he had receivers split from sideline to sideline, and he had what he wanted. That's what he's upset about. He says run the route. You had single coverage,
and that's why Kelly's a redshirt freshman and Charlie's a fifth-year senior running the show. They'll work from the gun again on 3rd down and long. They've been in this situation before, and he's going to go down. Great pressure from Miami. Javon Nanton with the sack.
Well, Nanton is one of those specialists that just comes in. He's a very lightweight defensive lineman that just rushes the passer. Going to be over here. He's just going to get inside and pressure the quarterback. Just a quick defensive lineman going against a huge lineman.
Colin Leonard will snap. He's the new long snapper after they had some trouble on a punt last week. Boy, they got close both times. Jason has punted. Evan Hester will take a sliding fair catch, and it's actually in Clemson territory at about the 48-yard line. College football on ABC Sports is brought to you by Chevy, the new Chevrolets, and American Revolution. ADT, America's residential and commercial security leader. And Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. Memorial Stadium packed to the brim for the first ever trip by the Miami Hurricanes into Death Valley. They've got the better of the field position right now.
Great field position.
They'll work at the Tiger 49. A give is Tyrone Moss, and Moss is into the secondary. And he's going to have a first down run down to the 36-yard line. Pickup of 13.
This offensive line for the Hurricanes trying to redeem themselves for a very poor performance a couple of weeks ago against the Florida State. At left side of that offensive line, Winston and McMeans, Walschlager, the center, doing a better job on that run.
And you saw Quadron Hill, the fullback, get a good block as well, stringing him down to the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Canes. No score here, first quarter. Into the middle of the Clemson line for about 2 is Tyrone Moss. Moss was kind of a question mark this week whether or not he'd play, whether or not he would be a starter. Coming off a 100-yard game, in fact 102 in his first career start in the loss to Florida State. Backed up Frank Gore last year. And as Vic Koenig, the defensive coordinator here at Clemson, said, you know, it doesn't matter. They just plug in another future first-round draft
choice. That's what I'm saying. We don't, you know, they've got the stars in there. We just don't know their names yet.
There's Vic, the first-year defensive coordinator for the Tigers. 2nd down, 9. Right. Trouble. Down he goes. They get him again. Corey Groover with a 2nd sack of the day for Clemson. We get an update now on the Sooners of Oklahoma. Let's check in with John.
Well, Brad, a little misdirection here. Looks like they're moving to the right. Toss over to Travis Wilson going the other way. Breaks a couple of tackles. Adrian Peterson with a nice block right there. Touchdown, 56 yards it covers. Oklahoma leading UCLA 7-0. Brad.
I like Adrian Peterson as a lead blocker. I like that. Well, a big sack is forced to 3rd and 16. And now the fans are alive again. Powell right in the gun. Olsen, the tight end, in motion, and a whistle. And Miami's got to take a timeout. We'll take one, too. 7:12 remaining first quarter. A big third down for the Canes when we return. Welcome back to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. No score here at Clemson, but Miami in Clemson territory with a big third down. 3rd and 16 following the timeout. They throw out the flat, and that one's going nowhere. Another loss on the play. Sergio Gillum, the corner, with a 8-yard loss with the hit on Lance Leggett. That one didn't work at all.
Well, it didn't work because he was up in bump and run coverage, and he was just standing there when the man came out to block Gilliam. He didn't budge. He knew something was up.
Funny thing is, they've been trying to get Sergio Gillum to be more physical. I know this hit's going to help his confidence right here. A nice open field stick on Leggett. It forces a punt.
Butler missed the block.
And Rose punts. Stuckey's just going to let it go, and it's going to make it to the end zone. Touchback, and Clemson will work from its own 20-yard line. Moments before kickoff here today at Frank Howard Field. Kind of an emotional time, and the fans give a great ovation. Bob Bradley, longtime sports information director here at Clemson, who worked here 45 years. He worked over 500 football games, and he becomes, maybe we think, the first sports information director in the country to go in a ring of honor. And there it was revealed, and Bob's family were all down on the field before the ball game, and he was one of the greatest men you'll ever want to meet. And every time I came to Clemson, I said, Bob, you got to save me something, you know. And it was a blonde brownie. Always had one for the trip home. He's one of the great men all time in this business, and we're happy for his family, and we salute him. Posthumously.
A blonde brownie.
They gave you one. I had a little package waiting for me.
Yeah, you didn't show it to me, but I got my own.
I think Tim Beret got mine up here today, and it said it was from Bob, now basically.
In the Midwest, we just had those brownies.
Well,
you know?
blonde brownies down at Clemson.
That's what they call brownies.
Yeah. You got to come into town, get some boiled peanuts, get a little bit of Brunswick stew, maybe some barbecue, and then you take home a blonde brownie for the ride home. That's how it works down here. 2nd down and 7. Yeah, some of you have to take a plane home. I don't have to.
I think I need an Alka-Seltzer after all that.
2nd and 7. Whitehurst, here's a screen again. Got it out to the freshman, big wide receiver, Rendrick Taylor, but he actually loses yardage. Look at the body. Yeah. Swanee saw this guy at practice the other day and said, wait a minute, right, Lynn?
Well, I looked in the practice and said, he's only a freshman. I said, first I wanted to see a birth certificate. Then I wanted to do DNA testing. And then I realized if this were a team that were coached by Greg Robinson or Pete Carroll, who also was the defensive coordinator, he'd be a linebacker.
He'd be a linebacker,
for sure.
That's right.
He is strong.
Boy, he is packed together. Still a 3rd down and long. Both teams have been in this situation way too many times.
Third and longs are not good.
Whitehurst fires, completes it out. I don't know if it's enough. Maybe it is enough for the first down. No, I don't think so. I think he got it out to the 30. Yeah. The official on the far side had marked it across the 30, but he never made it to the 30-yard line.
You know, this is not that bad. I mean, this is not bad.
Gain field position again.
Well, and offensively, you don't want to make a big mistake. You know, punting is all right.
And Miami has gotten very close to Cole Chasen on his punts today. 2nd straight 3 and out. They'll try to protect their punter. There's a whistle before the snap. So wave that off. And the timeout is Miami's. Miami's 2nd timeout taken. And again, timeouts taken by both teams taken in strange situations. For Clemson, they took one after a timeout. And there, Miami looked to have their set return on, and they had to take a timeout. Don't forget, coming up on Monday nights, ABC Sports, ESPN, and the NFL join to help the victims of Hurricane Katrina with a Monday Night Football doubleheader. Throughout the night, in a special fundraising telethon, you'll have a chance to donate to the relief efforts for our Gulf Coast neighbors in need. At 7:30 Eastern, it's the Giants and the Saints getting together. Then at 9 o'clock, the Redskins and the Cowboys in the regularly scheduled Monday night game, with the conclusion of the Giants and the Saints moving over to ESPN. Those of you in New York and the Gulf Coast areas will see the Giants and Saints in their entirety before joining the Redskins and the Cowboys. Last week, kind of an emotional game. I watched all of this one. The Carolina Panthers favored New Orleans on the road. And the field goal won it with 3 seconds remaining. And it was, I think, a big win not only for the Saints, but their fans and everybody else, kind of an emotional ball game, and their whole season, I'm sure, is going to be like that. But again, we hope you join us on Monday night for that doubleheader.
And not only the New Orleans fans, but the Carolina fans, you know, how well they took it and how appreciative they were of the performance by the Saints.
There's Devin Hester back deep.
Take a look at the splits. Look at the defensive line, the orange jerseys on this punt. This is a punt. Look at how far they're split out. Now Miami has been getting up through those things, and look how quickly they get through. The reason you do that is to get your guys downfield quicker.
Hester takes it at the 24, flag down. Another flag flies in. Only a 5-yard return and a good kick under pressure again by Cole Chasen. And now we'll wait and see about the penalty.
But Brad, we've seen that in college football, that spread punt formation.
I don't like it. I'm sorry. At least I wouldn't if I was a punter.
We've seen too many of them get blocked.
Exactly.
But like I say, the reason they spread you out, and they spread them out about 5 yards apart on the punt protection, is to get those guys downfield quicker.
Tom Zamorski is our head referee and this ACC officiating crew. We're having a long talk here. 2 different flags, maybe 2 different infractions. And so we're just going to wait and let Tom sort it all out for us. Clock stopped with 4:53 remaining in the first quarter. It's going to be a face mask, one of them, but and there are penalties in both directions.
There's a face mask.
Ooh, that was just a brush.
No, that was not.
And that was it. It wasn't much of a face mask. It may look that way, but it's almost sliding off the shoulder pad.
Well,
although the neck turned, that's a different look there.
Yeah, I would say that qualified for it.
There's the illegal block in the back. You saw that one come in secondary.
There were 2 fouls on the play. We had a personal foul, face mask, 22 from the kicking team. We had a block in the back against number 2 from the receiving team. The fouls will offset. We'll replay 4th down.
And I think that is good for Miami because they've got a kid that returned 4 punts and kickoffs or returns last year in Devin Hester.
And Bob, Brad, Chasen doesn't want to punt to him. He's trying to punt it away, but as we all know, if Miami continues to pressure him on the punt, he won't have as much control. Yeah. He'll just have to get that ball dropped and kicked, and he won't necessarily be able to angle it to a corner and away from Devin Hester. He came very close to contact on the last punt. Matter of fact, I think there would have been contact, but Chasen actually pulled his leg back after he punted.
It's Don Solinger, the special teams coach for Miami. And Tommy Bowden told us yesterday, said, we're not going to kick to him.
Swanee is so right, though. When that pressure's coming, you're just trying to get it out of there. And it's going to be very similar, although Hester just gets out of the way. This one tails out of bounds on it. They're going to gain some yards on this. It goes out at about the 33-yard line. And while we've got a moment here, we go from Clemson, South Carolina to Columbia, South Carolina. Let's check in with John.
Brad, thanks a lot. South Carolina trailing Alabama 7-0. This is 4th and goal at the 1. And Mike Davis gets it across and ties the game at 7 apiece. Remember, the Gamecocks almost knocked off Georgia last week. Michigan State, meanwhile, has scored first against number 10 Notre Dame and leads 7-0.
All right, John, keep us posted. Miami, no yards total, even though they've gained some. They've lost some money on plays that haven't worked. They pick up 4 there as Donnell Clark makes a stop on Tyrone Moss.
Well, it's been a defensive battle. Miami has moved the ball a little bit, but the defenses are dominating.
Second down at 6. 4:15 remaining in the first quarter. Scoreless so far in Death Valley. Right down the middle. And a nice throw and complete to Ryan Moore. His big target, first down at the Clemson 47-yard line. Ryan Moore, who had a tough year last year. He showed signs 2 years ago of being one of those Miami big-time receivers, and then injuries for the most part And he admits he didn't have a good season last year. He's off to a pretty good start this year, though.
He is. He's looking forward to getting back. In fact, he lost his starting position. Lance Leggett was starting in front of him, and he came back, and he's playing very well this year. Olsen, the tight end, Greg Olsen, was, I don't know if he's injured or what, but he was starting limping around out there after that play.
He was their big target last week. Pass complete out at Quadron Hill. The fullback, and Quadron is close to another first down, just a little bit short, it appears. Hill, a good receiver out of the backfield, good blocker.
Here he is here, Brad. He's just got, it's an I formation. It's play action. They're going to fake to the deep back. Now watch as he runs right by the outside linebacker. That's a good fake by Hill. He's a fifth-year senior, so he knows how the game is played.
Second down, about 2 feet to go for Miami. See if Tyrone Moss gets it. Flag down, might be a holding call, which would negate a big run down to the 26-yard line. But that flag flying in there from the umpire would tend to indicate that this one's coming back. Holding it is. So some problems, some miscues here, and some penalties that are slowing down Miami's march here, and they had plenty of miscues against Florida State. We mentioned in the open 9 sacks allowed, which was a school record. Some of those were coverage sacks like we've seen a couple of times today, but the special teams were terrible.
Yeah, 3 turnovers, 3 botched field goals, a blocked punt, and some of the punts, Hester didn't field some of the punts that well either. So special teams, which is really one of Miami's strengths, did not play very well in that first ball game.
Second down and 11. Here's a handoff and around to Moss. Sonoris Moss trying to get to the corner. Oh boy, he gets dragged down and then popped big time on the far sideline by Michael Hamlin. And that one didn't gain much. So it's third down and long again.
We talked about the defenses. One thing this Clemson defense does have is speed. They can run. In fact, Larry Coker, we're talking to him during the week, and he says, you know, this front 4 remind us a little bit of Florida State, the way they can get off the ball and run.
They haven't converted a third down yet. They've got a 3rd and 9 here. They were only 4 for 16 in that capacity against Florida State.
There's been every one of the situations have been 3rd and 10 or more.
There's Olsen, the tight end, in motion into the slot. Right. Rolls out, being chased. Completes it. It's going to be a first down. Got it to Darnell Jenkins. Boy, that's a heck of a throw running for your life.
Yes, and a nice job by Jenkins coming back to the quarterback, catching the ball, and picking up a first down. This is like 3rd and 11. He goes deep. He goes 15, 18 yards. Now he works back. And the only way he has time to run that route is if the quarterback is outside the pocket.
Nice throw, good catch, and a first down. They needed 9, they got 10, so they convert their first third down of the ball game, and now they've moved down to the Clemson 36-yard line.
A lot of players going in and out of the ball games. Defensively, a lot of players playing because it is hot and humid on that field. You're going to need a lot of players.
Ortega, the tight end, in there. Lead blocker for Moss. And Tyrone got inside the 35, down to about the 33. We'll give him a 3-yard pickup. Gaines Adams made the stop. Near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, and our ABC crew on a hot, sunny day in Clemson, South Carolina. No score. First quarter is winding down. Under 2 minutes to go. Miami on the move, though. 7th play of their drive. And it's second down and 7. Draw play, Moss up the middle. He's got a first down and then some. Inside the 25, down to the 24. Nick Watkins made the stop. Tyrone Moss, though he was banged up and questionable at times, is running hard.
Nice job by that offensive line for the University of Miami. Let's go ahead and start this. Go ahead and run it and watch the blocking up front. Now you're just going to pick a hole. He sees a hole right here. Nice job by the offensive line staying with their man. Quadron Hill getting a good block. That's nice job. Just reacting to the defense, get a man in their face, and let a good running back pick his hole.
I'll tell you, sometime during this game when you're in a 2-back set, just watch Quadron Hill. He's a big-time fullback. Kyle Wright throws on the run. In and out of the hands. Is it a fumble? Nope, they're going to say incomplete. Clemson wanted a big hit and a fumble recovery. Greg Olsen almost had the catch, and then he really got hit. The ball came out apparently simultaneously, and they say incomplete.
Well, let's go back and take a look. No, he didn't have it.
Good call.
No, that's
good call.
We had slowed down, and the ball came out really quick.
Clemson fans are going to react to what they see on the screen, but he never had it.
It's a good hit by Gaddis.
Sure was. The only problem is CJ hasn't gotten up yet. There he is, number 12. Maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. He got hit kind of low by Olsen's backside when they bounced on the turf. We'll hope that that's all it is. Out of Rayford, North Carolina, the sophomore starter.
Well, Gaddis came to Clemson as a quarterback. Probably why he's wearing that number 12, Brad and Bob. And he was drafted in the 20th round to play baseball. And one of the things the coaches felt about him was that he hadn't quite learned just how to be tough and hit a little bit harder. But you sure couldn't tell about that last play.
I get you. Now I like that. He's probably a very smart guy. Can play baseball, a lot of sports, talented, athletic.
Probably going to play for Clemson when the spring rolls around again in baseball. He only played 17 snaps against Miami last year, but he had 5 tackles. He had a good hit there. They'll come out for at least a play. And Miami will have a second down at 10. CJ trying to get his breath over there on the sideline. Michael Hamlin takes his spot in the Clemson secondary. Out of the gun, right, fires far side, and hit immediately is Greg Olsen. You know they're going to know where Greg Olsen is, Grease, because he had a huge game last week as he picked up 8 receptions for 137 yards against Florida State.
Enjoyed talking to Vic Koenig yesterday, the defensive coordinator for Clemson. He said, well, we'll have a few different things for him, one of which will be like a box and one on Olsen. Either a linebacker or a strong safety will stay with him in man coverage, and all the rest of the defensive backs will be playing zone.
Kyle Wright's completed 6 passes to 5 different receivers. Let's see who he picks out on 3rd and 9. Lofts it across the middle. Ryan Moore made the catch, but it's nowhere near the first down. And that should bring out the field goal unit. Nick Watkins helps on the hit. And out comes the field goal unit for the Hurricanes to try to break a scoreless tie. We talked about the problems they had against Florida State on Labor Day night. John Petty missed from 47 and 39, and then he never got a chance to try to tie the game because of a bad snap. This will be a 37-yard field goal attempt here in his first trip to Death Valley. A kick on the way, and he has got it right down the middle. So we've got our first score of the ball game, and it came late in the quarter. 26 seconds. All that remains in the first quarter. Miami leads this one 3-0. Let's find out about some other scores. Here's John in New York.
Well, Brad, we already told you the Ohio State Buckeyes were down 7-0 to San Diego State. Troy Smith calls his own number and gets it to the end zone. So the Buckeyes on the board, 7-6 with the lead. Remember, San Diego State missed their point after. Brad.
All right, John, keep us posted. John and Craig and Aaron will be along at halftime, give you all the scores and highlights from some of the early games.
Some interesting ball games being played today.
Sure are. There's some good ones coming up tonight, too, including a big one in the ACC up at Boston College, as they're the newest member of the Atlantic Coast Conference. Kind of show you the ACC, Miami being part of it for the second year. As I said earlier, this is their first trip in here because they don't necessarily always play the same teams. You have the same rivalry.
Yeah.
Coastal and Atlantic are the 2 divisions, and of course they'll have a championship game in Jacksonville coming up the 3rd of December for the first time this year. That was a 47-yard drive. Took about 4 minutes 20 seconds to get the field goal. 3-0 Miami.
And Miami in the ACC for the second year.
Right.
If anybody thought they were going to dominate the conference,
they're 5-4.
They're 5-4 in the conference play. So their first year in the league, Virginia Tech won the conference last year, and Miami wasn't even picked to win their division.
Remember a few years ago when Penn State came in the Big Ten, everybody said now it's the Big 3. Yeah. Penn State's found it a little bit difficult.
Everybody thought Penn State was going to dominate. They've been to the Rose Bowl one time.
Monroe to kick. This one's returnable. Dwayne Coleman at the goal line. And he runs into a wave of white at about the 15. Maybe bounced out to the 16-yard line. Here are the divisions that we were talking about. The Atlantic consists of Maryland and Clemson, North Carolina State, Wake Forest, Florida State, and Boston College. The people straight across in the Coastal, those are the teams that they will play every year.
Kind of their arch rivals.
Yeah,
huh?
kind of the natural rivals. Boston College and Virginia Tech, maybe people would say, well, you know, where's the territory there? But, of course, they both came from the Big East, so that makes those two a matchup. And here it's Clemson working from its own 16-yard line. Not the greatest field position all day long for Clemson.
Yeah.
Miami again bringing guys up, showing blitz. Reggie Merriweather in the backfield now. Charlie Whitehurst, long throw to the sideline to Stuckey. Chancey only got about maybe 2 yards out of that completion.
That's a long throw for a couple of yards.
Yeah, it is.
You mentioned average starting position, own 18-yard line for Clemson.
Miami, its own 40, so a big difference there. And it's hard to always start inside your own 20 and try to make something. It kind of cuts down on what you can do. You don't want to get too fancy down here. Well, you can lose the ball.
But you can't get frustrated. And I'm sure a fifth-year senior like Whitehurst won't, and not turn the ball over. Don't take chances. Don't make mistakes. This thing will turn around.
Remember, Clemson has not turned it over with a fumble or an interception yet this year. Across the middle, the pass is complete. Trying to stretch for a first down, and maybe got it, is Kelvin Grant. Grant, a junior out of Camden, South Carolina, number 88. He might have gotten right to that stripe. Pretty darn close. Well, you might have to look at it.
The yellow stripe is just approximate. It's not exact.
I think they're going to have to look at this. The referee signals that. They'll bring the chain gang in from the far side.
I tell you what did we ever do before we had that yellow line? Huh? I mean, I'm watching games at home. I love that thing.
I love it when I'm watching games. I actually still watch the field, so I have to look down to see the yellow line.
The only problem is, you know, the players don't see that line out there when they're running.
This is when we find out if the field is crooked or not. See, because I just look at the down marker over there and take a guess that they're a hair short. That's what I do. Oh boy, that's a hair. And now there's people telling me that's what old timers do. Thanks a lot, guys in the truck. I appreciate it.
Without radio.
Well, it's third down, and I don't even know if it's inches. It's maybe an inch.
Now, this will be interesting because it's third and short yardage. It's short yardage. You would think that the offensive lineman would get down in a three-point stance, lean forward, and fire out of their stance. No. They just get in a two-point stance, and Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator, says he's got his theory. He's a disciple of Alex Gibbs, the offensive line coach for the Broncos for so long, Denver Broncos. Now he's with the Falcons.
Well, we'll see if they can get that third down and an inch out of the two-point stance in the second quarter. Will there be any magic in Howard's Rock today? We'll find out. Into one, 3-0 Miami. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television. Set to start the second quarter at Memorial Stadium. Third down and about 2 inches to go for Clemson. See if Charlie Whitehurst leans forward himself. He's got the first down.
Well, there's one thing for sure. When that back leaves the backfield, there ain't nobody to hand the ball to.
It better be Charlie or there's problems.
If they're going to run it, it's going to be the quarterback.
So first down for the Tigers.
Let's take a look at the offensive line. Look, none of them had their hand on the ground.
Well, it's all about pad level. If you can get low enough, I guess, and you can get leaning in the right direction. The only problem is penetration by a defensive line will kill every run you ever try.
For sure. Here it is right here. Let me take them to watch. Look at that. They're 1 for 1 on the third down conversions.
Now the handoff. No, Whitehurst keeps it himself. Charlie Whitehurst in the open field. The senior quarterback. The longest run he'll ever have. All the way down to first and goal. Randy Phillips saved a touchdown, and Charlie Whitehurst showing his speed. What a run. 65 yards.
Better take him out, coach. He's tired. Or don't throw a pass. Here it is right here. He's going to fake to this guy, but watch these two defensive backs come that way, and that's why the play is open, because those two defensive backs clear it out. He keeps the ball. Nobody's over there.
The play fake to Merriweather was so good, everybody went after the running back, and he had me too. First and goal, Clemson. Let's see if Charlie Whitehurst can catch his breath. He might take a timeout here and say, let's make sure we get a touchdown out of this.
I wasn't kidding. I mean, the quarterback runs that far. He's tired.
When he got down to the 8-yard line and got run out of bounds, he still had enough energy to let out a whoop. But now he doesn't have enough energy to run the next play. Timeout, Clemson. We'll see if they can score when we come back. Charlie Whitehurst, the longest run of his life, 65 yards, and he's got enough energy for this. Watch and listen. There's the whoop. And then he realized he was out of gas. The needle was on E, and he said, well, let's get a timeout. It's going to be first and goal.
I guarantee you, when they put that play in, he never thought that he would run that far and be that winded.
Big opportunity for the Tigers to try to take the lead. First and goal at the 8. Whitehurst stumbles, throws over the middle. Touchdown, Clemson. Cole Downer from Whitehurst. 8-yard touchdown. Clemson in front. Oh, they're happy in Death Valley right now. Extra point. Jad Dean in for the point after. He was the hero of the Texas A&M game with his right foot. And his extra point is up and good. The scoring drive didn't take long, courtesy of Charlie Whitehurst. Tommy Bowden's team on top for the first time today, 7-3. It only took 5 plays. Most of it was the quarterback, and then he turned from his legs to his arm for the touchdown pass.
You're going to see this guy's going to motion over here, and you're going to have a cluster of 3 guys. 2 of them are going to go to the outside, and the one that's going to hook into the middle is going to be the guy he's going for. Now right here, you see he's open. They got these other 2 covered, but not the inside tight end.
And Bob, when Charlie dropped a throw, he almost fell up backpedaling. Watch him, and he got his balance back and then found his man.
Yeah, I tip my hat to Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator. Told us a couple of things. Yesterday he says, hey, we need you to have some misdirection plays. Miami is so fast. That play of Whitehurst was misdirection in a big way.
And it was overreaction by Miami.
Exactly. Fake the running back to the strong side. Nobody else there but the quarterback, and the quarterback was the guy. And then the touchdown pass, again, everybody to the outside was covered.
Most of our Nissan scoring drive of 84 yards in 5 plays was that guy, number 6. Did it with his legs, then threw the touchdown pass. It only took him 1:06 to take the lead over Miami 7-3. Jad Dean, kind of a unique first name. It's Jeffrey Allen Dean, so it's Jad.
J-A-D.
J-A-D. Jad ready to kick. Darnell Jenkins and Devin Hester are those 2 guys back deep. Anticipating a kick at about the 10-yard line, and they're going to get a high boost kick. Miami saw this coming, but they've got an opportunity from the 20. Bringing a tackle at the 30. Darnell Jenkins down the sideline. That one didn't work for Clemson. Trying to keep it away from Devin Hester. They kick it short to Jenkins, and he rips off 33 yards on the kick return.
Well, Hester's not the only one that can run back there. They put these other guys. Jenkins is a wide receiver, and he knows what to do with it. Good blocking up front.
There you see him take it at the 20-yard line. He gets a good block and then starts to do a lot of it on his own. Hester got him a good block. Then he got to the sideline. Ortega picked up a guy, and he ends up in Clemson territory at the 48-yard line. Let's see if they go for everything here. Nope, they'll keep it on the ground. Charlie Jones is in at tailback, and he got about 4 inside the 45-yard line of Clemson. Time now for our Aflac trivia question for the week. Since 1981, Miami and Clemson are 2 of the 4 teams to win the national championship after starting the season unranked. Name the other 2. Ooh, that's a good one.
Wow. Put your thinking hats on.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Second down at 6. Wright getting some pressure. Down he goes again. That is the third sack of the day by the Clemson defense. Lionel Richardson, the outside linebacker, got him that time.
Yeah, and this is not all the fault of the offensive line. You got to recognize when you got too many guys coming and you can't block them and get rid of it. Some of it's offensive line, and some of it is the quarterback just needs to get rid of it. Got to throw it.
He's going to learn that, but he's learning the hard way right now. 9 Labor Day night, 3 already in the first half. And it's 3rd down and 14, and they've lost their field advantage unless they pick this one up. Wright again rolls to buy himself a little extra time. Long down the sidelines, got a man out there. Broken up. Ryan Moore, the intended receiver, but it's Ty Hill who can run stride for stride with anybody in the country who breaks it up. And Ryan Moore is still down at the goal line.
Well, I like the play call because it's 3rd and long. You get the quarterback outside the pocket, away from the pass rush. Gives your receiver more time to run the route. He may have just hurt his hip, or he just may have landed on his hip, it looked like. Right there.
Ouch. And he is still down. They're attending to Ryan down
probably
at the goal line.
More than anything is winded.
As we said, not only having to run a long ways, as Charlie Whitehurst did earlier, as Ryan just did on a long pass pattern, but it is hot out here, and it's humid. And every play is going to take its toll. And as Bob said, a lot of guys running in and out. You see the other Clemson players right now. They've got the trainers out there, and there's a lot of bottles of water out there, and they're still helping Ryan up as we see him go down. As Bob said, I think at that left hip, that hits pretty hard.
Brad and Bob,
yes, Marty.
Looks are deceiving. He came down that hip, and that's what we all think might be the injury. But I saw him indicate to the trainer that it was his face, his mouth, and apparently when he came down, he indicated to the trainer that he hit his face somehow on his face mask or on the ground.
Okay. Either way, he is slow to get over to that sideline. Monroe, high short kick. Everybody trying to get out of the way, I think, in both teams' cases, except Miami now come up, try to down it at the 26-yard line. So they finally got a little better field position. Charlie Whitehurst, who's already done his thing today with a long run, his career long, and a touchdown pass, gets another chance on offense when we come back. College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Nissan, who remind you to shift the way you move through the world. Aflac, ask about it at work. IBM, become an on-demand business. IBM can help. And Napa Auto Care Centers. Napa, get the good stuff. There's a landmark in the South if there ever was one. The Esso Club. Once a gas station, now they serve a different type of fuel. And you got to go there when you're here, if you ever get to Clemson.
So did you're here in Clemson, did you go?
I had to make a stop there yesterday. Charlie Whitehurst down the middle, incomplete. Close to being interference, and now the flag flies in late. Marcus Maxey was covering Aaron Kelly, and he was draped pretty much all over him.
Clemson has been throwing on 1st down quite a bit. And against Miami, that's not a bad idea.
Pass interference, 24 defense. Be a 1st down at the spot of the foul.
So they'll move the sticks, and Clemson gains some field position here. That was close.
It was close, but I think he continued to have his backhand, his left hand on the backside. But it was close.
Out of the shotgun now, Whitehurst, and a bad snap. He got back on top of it. Roman Fry, I think, is in at center now for Dustin Fry. They're not related, and it looked like he hit himself with that snap. There's number 72. I don't think it ever got near Charlie, did it? No, he hit himself in the butt.
No.
That's not good.
That was if you can't get the, if you're a center and you can't get the ball between your legs on a
that's what you call a high trajectory there. Keep it down a little bit, Roman. We'll try it again here. 2nd and 14. That time he got it to him. It's a screen back the other way. Complete. Not getting back to the original line of scrimmage, though. Chancey Stuckey.
Miami played that one well. Again, 4 receivers to the right side, and the quarterback rolls right and then throws back left. Miami had that one stopped pretty well.
Now the third down situation at long again. Well, there have been a lot of third and longs in this first half for both teams. 4 wideouts. Merriweather will flank Whitehurst in the shotgun. Stuckey in motion. Whitehurst steps up and throws. His receiver was running down the sideline. He was throwing it out, and it's incomplete.
See, there's a 5th-year senior as opposed to Kyle Wright, just starting his 2nd game, who knows how much time he's got and just throws it in a safe spot, hoping that maybe one of his receivers will get it. Doesn't throw it up for grabs, but doesn't take the sack either.
Punting time again for Cole Chasen. Kyle Wright waiting on the sideline. He has had kind of a rough first half, much like the Florida State game a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks ago. Ooh, they got close again. They're going to get one today if Chasen keeps taking that long. Hester bobbles it but catches it and has it at about the 27-yard line. Well, earlier in the quarter, we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Since 1981, Miami and Clemson are 2 of the 4 teams to win the national championship after starting the season unranked. Name the other 2. Good luck.
Well, I want to tell you, what's the hurry here? I've got time to think.
I don't know.
I'm guessing Colorado and Georgia Tech.
I'm going to say Georgia Tech for one. Swanee? I guess I'm not guessing the other one.
Heck, I'll go Colorado, Georgia Tech. I don't have a clue.
Why don't we all go Georgia Tech, Colorado? We'll find out after this snap. I'm pretty sure on Georgia Tech. Wright rolls and throws behind his intended receiver. Georgia Tech shared the national title the year that they did win it. And the answers, Georgia Tech and BYU. BYU, there we go. And half right in our business is wrong. I think none of us gained. We all had Georgia Tech, but we don't get extra credit for that.
You know, I mean, what's the hurry? I mean, geez Louise, I mean.
It's the 3rd week of the season, and we have questions like that.
We could have got that. We got both of them. We could have got that one if they'd given us a little time.
We'd have had to sit at the ESO Club for about an hour to figure that one out. 2nd down and 10. Trying to get a ground game going, and a pretty good job by Tyrone Moss. He kind of backpedaled for about 4 yards after the initial hit and ended up with a 7-yard gain. So Aflac scoreboard in week 3. It looks the way it did coming in. We'll see how things go next week.
All the great players separate themselves from everybody else in the second half.
Miami has had the ball twice. The starting position on Clemson's half of the 50-yard line and has had to punt both times. Have not been very good on 3rd downs.
Got another one here. 3rd and 3.
1 out of 5.
Wright flares it out. Boy, that's a tough catch. And he's not going to get to the sticks over there. Sonoris Moss run out of bounds about a yard shy, it appears. Ty Hill again got over to make the stop. Larry Coker's not a happy head coach right now.
Well, the thing about it is you can't do a whole lot risk-wise because you got a young quarterback. I mean, this is his 2nd start, and he did well against Florida State, and he's doing well out here, but I mean, he's not a 5th-year senior, and he's not in the Orange Bowl. He's on the road where it's a little tougher.
You know, he's 8 out of 12, but it's good for about 40 yards with that. In fact, 36 yards on 8 out of 12. Monroe, nice punt again. Stuckey from the 20, and he's stuck at the 20. 47-yard punt and no return. We'll return in a moment, though. Charlie Whitehurst, the biggest play of the game, got Clemson close, and then he threw the touchdown at 7-3. You take away Charlie Whitehurst's run, and Clemson's might not be so good per play either, but Miami an anemic 2.3. Clemson with a lead in the ball. First down, the Tigers at their own 20. Play action. Whitehurst on the roll. He's just going to get rid of this one, and he gets hammered to the turf by Rocky McIntosh, the outside linebacker, coming around the corner.
McIntosh was headed to Clemson. And then there was something that didn't go along right, and the NCAA came in, and he ended up not being allowed to get into school here, so he ended up at Miami. But that's probably the 5th or 6th time on first down that Clemson has gone to the pass, and I like that. Just got to get somebody open.
Yep. Rocky is one of the captains of the defense, and he is a South Carolina native out of Gaffney, South Carolina. 2nd down and 10. Again, Whitehurst with 4 wideouts from the gun. Shovel pass inside. Trying to get his man free is Davis. James got up to about the 23-yard line. He's been kept in check, and McIntosh made another tackle.
Rob Spence pulling out all the tricks. Little misdirection, little trickery, little shovel pass, little screen, slip screen, little misdirection. The reason is all these defensive players for Miami just get upfield. The linebackers can run left to right. The linemen get upfield, and it creates space. And if you can get in those holes, there's some yards.
3rd down and 7. Whitehurst trying to stay in, going deep down the middle. Oh, what a catch at the 40-yard line by Curtis Bayham. He caught the back end of that one. That one was heading to Lake Hartwell, and he threw a line out there and caught it.
Well, give credit to Charlie Whitehurst because he bought just enough time to allow him to get behind the 2 defenders. He would have been sacked were it not for his good movement in the pocket.
38-yard pass play on 3rd and 7.
Watch the lead receiver to our right. He's just going to go down and beyond the 2. But that was the end of it. Charlie just trying to avoid a sack. Got him time to throw the ball.
And no gain on the running play of Davis. Leon Williams made the tackle. And again, back to Whitehurst going deep down the middle.
There you go, just avoiding the rush, just a perfect throw. Oh, perfect
Brad,
throw. 6'5", nice throw.
What did Rob Spence say? He said, you know, you look at Miami and you look at all this talent and all the first-round draft picks, and you know these guys are going to be playing in the NFL someday. And yeah, they've got a lot of talent. But he said, our team is a good team. We play extremely well. There's a great case of a quarterback making the effort, the wide receiver coming up with a big play, keeping a defense off balance.
Good point. 2nd down and 10. Over the middle this time. Complete. That's the freshman, Tyler Grisham. I really like this kid. He's got some shifty moves. Not the biggest guy in the world. About 5'11", 180 pounds, a true freshman. One of several true freshmen playing for Clemson.
I think there's 8 true freshmen and about 14 or 15. Talking to Tommy yesterday, he said, we'll play a lot of young kids. This is more than we normally play, but you know, he's a true freshman. This Davis kid, Bobby said, hey, Tommy said, we got one.
Yeah.
We don't normally get one. We got one. We got him.
Watch this play. Whitehurst comes out. Davis is going to take a direct snap. And see what he can do with it from there. Straight up the middle. Might have a first down. We saw this one in practice the other day. A little chicanery there.
And I like the game that Rob Spence is calling, because he's not laying back. He's attacking. He's doing this. He's doing that. He's throwing deep.
They're going to take a look at this and measure. And then the discussion begins. Do you go on 4th and short? It's a long ways for a field goal. I think this is 2-down territory if I'm thinking about how Tommy thinks. It's going to be a little bit short, but again, only about 8 chain links. 4th down and inches. Offense is standing there saying, Coach, let's go get it.
Yeah, he's already made the call up to Rob Spence.
First of all, Jad Dean, his career long is 48 yards, and that would have been stretching it right about in that area.
Yeah, this is a good time when I'd want my guys in a 3-point stance firing off the offensive line. These guys just getting a 2-point stand. Look how low they get.
Let's see if they get low enough. 4th and inches. Huge play. Empty backfield's going to be Whitehurst again. He goes off the right guard, and he's got a first down. Or so it appears. He's got it. He kind of hesitated on the snap and then followed Nathan Bennett. And it's first down, Clemson. They're loving it here in Death Valley.
This offensive line, they get real low. They don't seem to have any problem firing out.
I guess not.
Well, you know, Bob and Brad, it's always tough when you're new or innovative and you're doing something different. I'm sure the Bill Walshes of the world, the folks that put the run and gun offense in, all thought they were up against everybody with their new thoughts.
Penalty flags all over the place. It looked like the left side of Clemson with the false start, but we'll wait and see. Well, as Swanee said, innovations are never called innovations until they work.
Offsides, 99 defense.
Well, they're going to call it on Miami.
Penalty. Repeat first down.
Kareem Brown jumped in. So there's a 3-5 for Clemson. And Brown takes an exit to the sideline.
Take a look to the right side. That's a good call. It must have been a nice cadence, staggered cadence. The quarterback pulls the defense off, and normally it's the guys right in front of you that can hear you the best that you'll get to jump off sides.
And again, there's movement, and again it comes from the same spot, only this time it's Baraka Atkins.
He's the one that took Brown's place.
And it looked like he did the same thing, but we'll wait and see. This could be a free first down with back-to-back penalties.
Offsides, 98 defense. 5-yard penalty, result in first down.
So it is a first down by penalty. Next Saturday, ABC's regional doubleheader kicks off noon Eastern. We'll see either Colorado against these Hurricanes or Iowa and Ohio State. Then at 3:30, it's Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech, or Notre Dame, Washington. Check the local listings for the game in your area.
The Hurricanes have always been one of the most penalized teams in whatever conference they're in. And it hurt them here.
Clemson in the red zone again, trying to add to their 7-3 lead here in the second quarter. James Davis trying to sweep the left side. Boy, he has found the sledding tough so far today. McIntosh and Williams, the linebackers, make the stop. This Miami defense so fast, as they always have been over the years.
But not only are they fast and quick, but they're aggressive and they are looking to score. I mean, they're looking to pick up fumbles, cause fumbles. They're looking to pick passes off. This is one of the highest scoring defenses you're going to find in the country.
Second down and 9. Davis empties the backfield. Whitehurst from the gun. Looks right, comes back left on a slip screen, and Davis couldn't handle it. Clemson's not slow either. Larry Coker talked with us about that and about the speed he thought Clemson had. Tommy Bowden had a response, though.
Well, I think the speed of their defense, for one. Obviously, we got hurt last week by a very fast defense, and I think Clemson is somewhat like Florida State, and they are a very fast unit.
We've got good team speed. We're a few notches behind Miami and Florida State. I appreciate the compliment. Might be a little bit of a smoke screen right there.
A little sandbagging between buddies.
Yeah.
On third down and long, Whitehurst trying to flare it out. Dangerous pass. There's going to be an interference call, I think, on Kenny Phillips out there. You can't touch the receiver when the ball's in the air. And now Larry Coker's maybe saying, I don't know if that was at a forward pass or a lateral. That's going to be the discussion.
Or was it catchable?
Pass interference on Miami.
Yeah.
Boy, penalties are just devastating the Hurricanes on this Clemson drive. That's 3 in the last 4 plays.
Watch out here. He's just going to come straight out to the side. Right there it is. He hit him. The ball was in the air. That's what it is. The ball was in the air. It's interference.
That's it. It's as simple as that. Kenny Phillips, a true freshman, will learn that as time goes on. But
there's
they're
no
going to pick it up.
The receiver was behind the line of scrimmage.
That was the other thing I mentioned.
He's behind the line of scrimmage.
Behind the line of scrimmage. Not a lateral, but behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, he's definitely behind the line of scrimmage. And that's true. That's a good call.
So they pick it up, and that means the field goal unit comes on, and Chad Dean's going to try a field goal of about 35 yards. Perfect so far on the season. This one from the left hash. They try to give Clemson a 10-3 lead. Might have been motioned by Miami again. Flags fly as the kick flies. Devin Hester looked to be the guy that was offside, trying to get to that kick. And it would still be 4th down.
Still be 4th down. I think they're going to take the field goal.
I was going to say, don't take points off the board.
Defense is refused. Field goal is good.
That's a good call. It was still going to be 4th down and pretty long, and they were not going to go for it. Larry Coker trying to fire up his troops. Trying to fire up his quarterback, who's had kind of a tough day completing passes, but not for much yardage. We'll see if Kyle Wright and the Miami offense improves when we come back. Now, the hometown fans mean a lot, and so do those fans when it's a 93-degree day. And everybody trying to stay cool and get a lot of fluid during their respites here. It's 10-3. Clemson in front on their home field. Sold out crowd at Memorial Stadium. Dean to kick. High, relatively short. Jenkins from the 10. He got a good return last time. And again down the sideline. He got knocked out of bounds before he got to the 30. Got a pretty good block just to get that far. Let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary so far in this one. For Kyle Wright today, going back in the pocket has been a harrowing experience. 3 sacks already by Clemson in the first half. John Petty, their field goal kicker, got us on the board 3-0 from 37 yards. And after Charlie Whitehurst had a 65-yard run of his own, an 8-yard touchdown pass to Downer, his tight end, that made it 7-3. The field goal has made it 10-3, and now number 3 goes to work for Miami from the 20-yard line. Moss, maybe 2. That's about it. Jamal Fudge, the safety out of Jacksonville, Florida, made the stop.
As you mentioned, Fudge was a safety, is a safety, and he was up near the line of scrimmage. 8 men to stop the run. You can't run against that. They're trying to force Kyle Wright to win this ball game. Miami on the road, trying to win on the road with a new quarterback. That's a tough recipe right there.
2nd down and long. Crowd again coming to life for their defense. Here's a nice run weaving through traffic by Moss, and he's got a 1st down. Got 10 and carried several would-be tacklers with him.
Ideally, when you break in a new guy, a new quarterback, a young guy that hasn't played, he's been there 3 years, but he's never played. He's inexperienced. Watch the offensive line. That's McMean, 68, that pulls. Nice read. When you try to break in a new quarterback, ideally, you'd like a strong offensive line, which they've got, and a good running game. Now, they're breaking in some new running backs at the same time. They've got receivers, good tight end.
Now they got Devin Hester in their backfield. They toss it to him, trying to get their big playmaker in open space, and they got him in open space. Hester still on his feet, inside the 40. Foot race inside the 30. Boy, he comes in for one play, and that's what he can do, Bob.
And don't think that the defense doesn't know it either. Everybody's yelling his name. Number 4, 4, 4 in the backfield. But still, they toss it to him, and he just outruns them.
Just great open field running by Devin Hester, one of the most electrifying guys in the country.
That's just speed right there to do this.
You saw one of the defenders almost break his ankle trying to stay with him.
That was Gilliam.
And he got it all the way to the 22-yard line. A 36-yard pickup for Devin Hester. Tyrone Moss now back in there. Miami trying to tie this thing up before halftime. Play action. White, heavy pressure, got rid of it. Moss, was he out of bounds? He was. Sonoris Moss was juggling it as he went out of bounds. Pretty good throw, and Wright took a big hit, and he's still on his knees. He took a shot when he let go of that football. Here's the end of the play. As you watch Sonoris Moss, already there's 1 foot, but he didn't have it. And
not even close.
Didn't even capture it until he was about 4 yards out of bounds. Nice effort, though, to keep a foot down, but he just couldn't make the catch. And finally grabs it about right there, a stride or 2 out of bounds. But the hit is what Miami fans are worried about right now.
He's standing up.
Charles Bennett Ooh, the landing might have been worse than the hit. Right on his face, and he is coming off.
He either got the wind knocked out of him, or when he got hit, he hit the ground. His helmet may have hit the ground and may have knocked him a little silly. Of course, when you're hot, when it's hot and humid out there, it doesn't help any.
So now Kirby Freeman, who actually battled with Kyle Wright in the spring for the starting job, is in at quarterback for Miami. Freeman, a redshirt freshman out of Brownwood, Texas. You think he's a little bit nervous right now?
Yeah, but look for a draw, a screen, or a rollout.
He's in the shotgun. There's the give, the keep rather. They let him carry it, and he goes to the 20-yard line, pickup of a couple.
Play was very similar
to Whitehurst.
With a little fake and then run around the end.
Bob and Brad, one of the things I do like about this play is the fact they use shotgun, because very often the quarterback comes in from the sideline and he goes under center, and it's a hard center quarterback exchange where there's a high risk of it being fumbled.
Kyle Wright took a one-play respite to catch his breath. He's back in there, but a timeout taken, trying to get his team a touchdown to tie this game. We'll see if they can do it when we return. Coming up on the Valvoline halftime show, John and Craig and Aaron will have all the scores and highlights from games already concluded, the ones that are in progress, and looks ahead to some big ones coming up later. And that'll come in about 2 minutes and 44 seconds when we wrap things up in the first half. But here we've got another big third down situation. As Kyle Wright was knocked out for a play, it's going to be 3rd down and 8. Third downs have not been very kind to Miami so far today. They're 1 out of 6. And they got a big one here because they're trying to tie this game up before halftime.
And Kyle Wright has thrown to 4 different receivers on 3rd downs. He just needs to pick up a first down. They're 1 out of 6 in 3rd down conversions.
Hester, the tailback again, in an I formation. Now he flushes out of that backfield. Right pump one way and throws it in the ground. Was he outside of the tackle box? I don't know. They throw the flag. I think this is intentional grounding.
Well, if you're outside the tackle box, you can throw it, but you have to throw it to the line of scrimmage.
Now, that thing was 8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I think it was a double whammy there. I don't think he was outside the box, and I know he didn't get it to the line of scrimmage. Tom Zamorski.
He's going to pick up another one.
I don't know about this.
There's no foul. There was a receiver in the area. 4th down.
And I didn't see the receiver.
There was a receiver in the area. It was a screen pass. And that's smart on the quarterback. You can throw it into the ground if there's a receiver close by.
I still don't see the receiver.
There's a receiver.
There's Quadrin
right
Hill
there.
had fallen down.
Right there.
Quadrin Hill, the fullback, had fallen down. That's why I missed him. John Petty try another field goal of 37 yards. Kick on the way. And he just tucked it inside the left upright. So a couple of field goals of 37 yards by Petty.
That was huge. Just for Petty to make a field goal for Miami on the road, just to get something out of these drives. All right, we got a little momentum going into halftime.
So a 50-yard drive. Again, they had the short field and a little over 2 minutes to get down there, get the field goal. 10-6. Clemson in front. TV Guide calls Invasion TV's best new drama. Something is happening to this family that'll change their lives in ways they never imagined. And it's not what you think. Invasion starts Wednesday night at 10/9 Central. It follows the season premiere of Lost, only on ABC. Miami with back-to-back losses the last 2 years. First, Virginia Tech and then Tennessee. Then last year, the loss to North Carolina, followed by the overtime setback to Clemson, 27-14. And so 4 of Larry Coker's 7 career losses, and Larry in his 5th year comes in 44-7. But 4 of those have been back-to-back situations. Now can Clemson follow what Florida State did on Labor Day night and win here and make Miami 0-2? If so, it'll be the first time since '78 that Miami would be 0-2. What'd you tell me? That was the Carter administration, wasn't it?
Carter administration. Yeah.
And that was before Howard Schnellenberger even showed up and started putting together the powerful Miami
Schnellenberger,
team.
I think he won his first championship. He was the first guy to win a championship in Miami in '83. They won 4 others after that, so they won 5 championships, and they played in 3 other games where they lost, where they could have won a championship.
Right now they're finding the ACC pretty tough. High short kick by Monroe. Somebody's going to have to hustle. That's a loose ball. Oh. Getting to it was Kelvin Grant, and I hope he's all right, because he had to go as high as he could, and he got cartwheeled, and he's still down. The kick was so short they weren't anticipating that and trying to run up to make the grab. It's a free ball after 10 yards, and here's the bounce, and now here's the ending.
88.
Oh boy, that hurts. It will be Clemson ball. They maintain possession, but again, this is a situation you never want to find yourself in, if at all possible, is having to go that high and knowing that the special teams are coming. Darryl Sharpton is the guy, the freshman linebacker, that puts this big hit on number 40, who'll come flying in from the right side right there. Oof. So Kelvin still down, now on his feet. A little bit wobbly though. Junior out of Camden, South Carolina.
You know, one of the other things about that is when it's hot and humid, you know, your body is not right. You need some fluids in there, and when you get hit up around your head and you get knocked woozy a little bit because it's so hot, you know, he'll probably be all right second half, but they need to get some fluids, and not only him but all these guys. Get in at halftime.
Might be best to get him in the locker room 2.5 minutes early right now, because I'm pretty sure he's not going to play the next 2.5 minutes. The coaches here at Clemson tell us he's the best talent at receiver that we have. So that would take away kind of a big play guy with their passing game if he can't come back.
Right now they're trying to get him, they're walking him to that locker room, as you suggested, Brad. And the best thing for him probably is not to be back in this ball game if it's any kind of concussion.
Here's a screen. That didn't work. They've gone to that well too many times. And Willie Williams, the outside linebacker, just sitting back waiting on Chancey Stuckey that time, and a loss on the play of 2.
Well, they've got a little wrinkle off of that they might start pulling out here, but they'll probably use it in the second half maybe. It's that slip screen. They've tried it 4 or 5 times. We were told they're going to throw that screen a lot here today.
They've done it both sides of the field as well, mostly to Charlie Whitehurst left, but that one came to the right. Now it's 2nd down and 12. And Clemson wants to at least eat up some clock. They don't want to give this ball back to Miami. They can help it. They at least want the halftime lead. Whitehurst across the middle. Kind of a little drag route. Broken tackle by Kelly. Kelly still on his feet, and he got out for 10 yards, short of the first down, but at least it's a manageable 3rd down situation, more than it would have been.
I'm impressed with Charlie. He's done a great job. The last year he was, you know, he threw 17 interceptions last year. Now he's so much more under control. And I think Rob Spence, the new offensive coordinator, a new system, new terminology. Tommy Bowden told us yesterday, hey, we brought guys in. I'm going to turn the offense over to him. I'm turning the defense over to him. 9 different receivers now for Whitehurst.
Davis has not been able to run at all today. Kenny Phillips makes the stop on him here on a 3rd down and short. So now we're under a minute. It's a 4th down upcoming. Remember, Miami is out of timeouts as well.
Here's the offensive production with a new offensive coordinator.
Tommy Bowden, one of the officials on the sideline. 4th down and 1, and they're going to let that clock wind down. Clemson has 1 timeout remaining and takes it now. So they used as much of the clock as they could. They didn't want to give Miami anything to work with. And Miami, as I mentioned, out of timeouts. So there's going to be about 20 seconds left in the half. Well, we've got a break in the action. 10-6. Clemson leading Miami. Let's take a look at our Dr. Pepper ACC update. West Virginia winner over Maryland. Maryland a heartbreaking defeat to these Clemson Tigers last week with a fourth quarter comeback by Clemson. Virginia winner over Syracuse 27-24. Duke got a win over VMI for Ted Roof. And Virginia Tech leading Ohio. Frank Solich Ohio team 17-0 at the break. The games coming up later. East Carolina, Wake, UConn, and Georgia Tech is on ESPNU. Wisconsin and North Carolina will get together in Chapel Hill. Wisconsin off to a great start, at least by scoring a lot of points. And then the big one tonight at Boston College with 8th ranked Florida State as Boston College jumps into the ACC.
How about that with 7 ACC teams in the top 25?
Pretty good, huh? Devin Hester back deep.
Conference got tougher when Florida State came in, and then it's gotten even tougher.
Oh, they got it!
Yes!
All day long. The punt is picked up, the block punt by Clemson, and advanced out to the 38-yard line. Cliff Harrell somehow took that blocked punt on the hop. Willie Williams, I think, is the guy for Miami that blocked it.
Well, we showed you the spread punting formation.
They've been close all day. And boy, if any of 3 of those guys, it was Williams that got it, could have been any of them. But fortuitously, Clemson picks it up downfield and is able to recapture the football and have a first down at the 38-yard line. That's crazy, huh?
That is really strange.
Now they got 12 seconds to work with. Whitehurst throws. And let's see, to make the catch at the 47-yard line, he did.
How many times are you ever going to see that happen? You're
very
back in punt formation. The punt gets blocked. You pick it up and run for a first down, and your offense goes back on the field.
It's a little different way to get a first down.
Oh.
And we're down to 1 play. Larry Coker's first visit to Death Valley. Charlie Whitehurst spikes the ball now, and now we still will have 1. Yeah, no, we're not going to have 1 play. That's the end of the half. So at least the block punt didn't cause any further damage for the Clemson Tigers. And at home, they lead the 13th ranked team in the country. 10-6, courtesy of Charlie Whitehurst for the most part. Clemson with a lead at halftime. We'll be joining John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor in our New York studios for the Valvoline halftime show right after this.
Sports welcomes you back to this week's BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT.
Back in Death Valley, a defensive battle. Clemson at home leading Miami 10-6, trying to beat the Hurricanes for the 2nd year in a row. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, and Lynn Swan back with you at Memorial Stadium. I've been impressed with both defenses, but really the difference in the ball game is a senior, 5th-year senior quarterback who had some big plays and a young guy on the other side who hasn't had any yet.
Well, that's true. It always gets down to the quarterbacks, especially in defensive battle. Charlie Whitehurst has done a lot. A long run, set up a touchdown. A long pass, set up a field goal. And on the other side, a young quarterback just cutting his teeth. 2nd game on the road, tough place to play. He's struggling.
Close game. Could come down to a field goal. Petty's already hit a couple, and so's Dean.
Could come down to special teams, a block punt. I've never seen where you get a block punt like Clemson did, and then they get the ball and make a first down on it. But it could come down to special teams or the kicking game.
All right, we'll look for that. Second half should be close. Let's go down and check in with Swanee.
Well, Bob and Brad, I talked to Tommy Bowden when he was leaving the field, and he is still impressed with the speed of Miami. He says they bottled up their running game, and they're getting pressure with a 4-man rush, so he's going to have to find some passes. He said they're too fast to waste downs trying to run some good passes that are successful. When Larry Coker was coming out in the field, I talked to him. He says, well, we need a touchdown. He says, this team can execute. We just have to go out and play our game and get into the end zone, and we'll be okay. Brad?
I'm a little surprised that neither team has utilized their tight end any more than they have so far.
Well, I think that's a good point, and I think Miami is the one that needs to get back to their tight end. And Tommy Bowden told us yesterday that they were going to be doing some stuff, double covering him a lot to try and stop him.
So now Jad Dean's got it teed up. Miami will touch the ball first. And there's Devin Hester and Darnell Jenkins. And when they try to keep it away from Hester, Jenkins has hurt him on kickoff returns. As Bob said, Devin Hester's not the only guy on that team that can run. Here we go. Second half underway. This time they'll try to squib it down. And Hester will handle it at the 10, and he's got an alley. stiff-armed a man and got out to the 45-yard line. He is just such lightning when he gets his hands on the football. 33-yard kickoff return.
Well, he kind of coasts until he gets through the hole.
As you look in from the high seats here, let's take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. The passing yardage, all Clemson, and so is the total yardage. Time of possession relatively even.
Third down conversions, not much. Penalty yards, none for Clemson.
Turnovers haven't been a problem for either team.
No turnovers. Average starting field position is big in favor of Miami.
Great starting field position again for the Canes. Moss hit after about a yard gain. That's about it. And Charles Bennett, the defensive end, in on the stop. Bennett and Gaines Adams with two good defensive ends that Clemson has. The offensive leaders, Ryan Moore, a couple of catches and paid the price for one attempted catch down near the goal line when he got shaken up. Tyrone Moss has carried it pretty well today.
Olsen has one catch. The tight end has one catch for 1 yard.
There's Ryan Moore. And I backfield behind right. Nice play fake by Kyles. Got a man open in the flat. Completes it to Quadron Hill, the fullback. And Hill trying to fight his way to a first down. I don't think he quite got it. Waters and Gilliam made the stop. Looks to be about a yard shy.
That play has been working. That's the third reception for Hill. He's a fullback. We mentioned a fifth-year player. Knows the system inside and out. He can block. He's a big back. Can catch. Does a lot. His dad played for the Dolphins, Eddie Hill.
Right.
So he's got it in the genes.
Third down and a yard on the opening drive of the third quarter for Miami, already in Clemson territory, courtesy of the nice kick return by Evan Hester. Ortega, the tight end, in motion. The toss to Moss, and he's gotten the first, and Tyrone's got more than that. Bumped out of bounds at the 41, a pickup of 7. So Tyrone Moss might be on his way to another 100-yard game, as he's over 60 now here early in the third quarter.
First drive of the second half is telling in what the offense wants to do and the defense wants to react to. They've come out. Miami has come out again. They're starting to do the same thing. They want to reestablish their running game. Little play action pass, throw it to the backs. Keep the offense on the field.
Play fake to Moss. Wright's in trouble. There's another sack for Clemson. That's their fourth of the day. Anthony Waters came on the blitz, and that helped to collapse that pocket.
Yeah, well, that one's not his fault. They had play action and on first down and a blitz. Let's go ahead and run it. He's going to play action to our left side, or to our right side, then roll back to the left. But it's the linebacker right here that got through. He got plenty of time and a great vision. Just the whole pocket collapsed on him.
Second down and 18 now out of the gun. Here comes the extra man again. It's Waters on the blitz. Wright throws incomplete. Intended for Joe out there. And it's going to bring up third down and a mile. They've got to get all the way to the 31 for a first down.
Yeah, second and 18 is tough to pick up anytime.
And Bob and Brad, with this third down coming up, and you guys were talking about the tight ends from both teams. Olsen hasn't been a factor in this ball game, and I might submit to you, it's been a really good defensive game plan to take him out. But whenever you have that situation, that's when the other players have to step up. If they're spending a lot of effort on Olsen, then the wide receiver somewhere has to make a break, has to get open.
Well, the three that are out there, Moore and Leggett and Moss. Wright with plenty of time. Flags down as he throws complete. It's going to be a first down. Ryan Moore. But again, a penalty marker down in the Miami backfield. They would have picked up 26 yards on a 3rd and 18, but I think it's coming back. And it is.
That is just huge. I mean, that is crippling. The first drive of the second half, you come out, you pick up 3rd and 18, and then you have to do it again.
That's a 36-yard difference from what it could have been.
Holding. 64 offense. 10 yards to previous spot. Repeat third down.
The Butler did it.
Take a look to the right side of the screen. Left side. Right here.
They call it on Rashad Butler, 64, not Eric Winston, 74. Maybe they were both guilty. I don't know. Third down at 28. Clemson comes with a stunt on their front wall. Wright's trying to run away from it, and incomplete. And his receiver, or his intended receiver, takes a pretty good shot from Tremaine Billy. Darnell Jenkins was the intended receiver. And so Miami had that good surge to start this third quarter, but then the holding penalty killed them and killed any momentum they had.
It's undisciplined. Miami has always been one of the highest penalized teams, and it comes up to bite you, and in a close game, it's going to really hurt you.
The holding call on Butler sends him back. The line of scrimmage ends up being the 41, and that means Monroe to punt. That's Chansey Stuckey shielding his eyes, trying to see this punt. He looks up in the sun. He's going to have to let it go, and it's going to be costly that he couldn't field it at all because it goes inside the 10-yard line. So again, terrible field position for Clemson. It's going to be their worst to start so far. 52-yard punt. Our IBM Star Watch today. 2 years ago, he was a big-time star. Last year, he struggled statistically and struggled with the offense they had. Comfortable this year. A huge run of 65 yards set up his 8-yard touchdown pass. And Charlie Whitehurst, so far, our star of the game. But now he's standing near his own goal line.
This is his 4th year starting. He started about 6 or 7 games his freshman year. 23 years old.
Here's the inside handoff, trying to get some breathing room, and that doesn't work either. The running game of Clemson, which has been their strong suit really through the first 2 wins of the regular season, and it's been anemic today against that Miami Hurricane defense.
Talking to Charlie yesterday, 23 years old. He was back in Duluth. They had some friends starting with the Braves now.
Well, Jeff Francoeur was going to come here and be a receiver before he signed his Major League Baseball contract. Now he's probably the Rookie of the Year in baseball, and he said, hey, I had Francoeur in here. I'm the guy that hosted him when he came up here, and he said, I used to play against Brian McCann since I was 12 years old in baseball, so those guys know each other well. 2 of the new stars of the Braves, and here the star quarterback of the Clemson Tigers. Charlie throws, completes. Going to be short of the first down by about a yard. He got it out to Aaron Kelly. And that will bring up a 3rd down and about a yard to go.
And that is just huge confidence. Speaks volumes about what kind of confidence you have in your quarterback when you let him throw from his own end zone, backed up against an aggressive defense like this Hurricane defense.
Clemson's only got 72 yards on the ground, and that guy got 65 of them on a quarterback keeper off the option. 3rd down and a long one, almost 2 to go. Tight end in motion. Here comes Miami, and they break through, and again, there's just nowhere to hide for James Davis. This freshman won't forget this one too soon, will he? A highly touted freshman tailback who started this game, but he just can't find any room to run against the Canes defense. And it's going to be cold chasing. They'll have to punt it away again.
Well, this Miami defense coming into the game was like 3rd in the nation in total defense. And it's always been a trademark of Coker's defense.
Remember, Miami got the last punt, and now Jason's on his own goal line. Devin Hester waiting on it. Should get great field position even if they get the kick away. He tails it to the near side where Hester waits at the 45. Straight up the middle. Across midfield. Got about 8 or 9 out of the return and right back into Clemson territory. So now Miami still trailing. And the offense will go to work against Ty Hill and that Clemson defense that's been pretty tough all day long. Tigers try to beat Miami for a 2nd straight year. They lead by 4 with 9:33 to go in the 3rd quarter. But again, the Hurricanes great field position to start. It's Hester as the tailback now on a pitch. Now reverses his field. Got a big block from his quarterback. And now he's going to throw it down the middle. Got a man wide open. Quadron Hill. Flags are down. I think there's illegal men downfield, aren't there?
Oh, there's 2 of them. At least 2 flags at least.
What a crazy looking play. I don't know if it was ever designed to end up being a pass, but Devin Hester decided to pull up and throw. Kyle Wright got him a great block on his reverse of field.
This looked like something they would do like 18 years ago when they're playing street ball.
And there's the call. You got to worry about the quarterback, though, because the block he threw.
Downfield, number 74 offense. 5-yard penalty for previous spot. Repeat first down.
Now watch the block by Wright. Right there. That can mess up your passing arm, Grease.
Yeah, you got that right. This is the old, we did this back to 18 years ago out in the street. You run down there. Back then there was no officials. That's Kyle Wright getting even with Jackson, number 91.
Rashard Jackson, bingo. But
that's a lot of time for the quarterback in the weight room to be able to do that.
He's a tough kid. We've seen that over 2 games, that's for sure. Now he gives it off to Tyrone Moss. And Clemson waiting for him at the midfield stripe.
And what Clemson is doing on first down, they've got 8 guys up in the box to stop the run. And you're going to have a tough time running when they got that many players up there.
You just got to wonder how many times Miami can start on Clemson's end of the field and not get some kind of points. Got to give credit to the Clemson defense, too.
This is the 3rd time that Miami has started a drive in Clemson's territory and not done anything with it. They punted the first 2 times.
Second down and 13 at midfield. Comes a blitz off the corner. Wright in the pocket. Now runs with it. And got about 7 yards on the scramble. Down to the 43-yard line. Kyle's a pretty good runner. It's not what he wants to be doing all day long, but picked up what he could there and makes 3rd down a little bit easier. 3rd down and 6.
Canes need to get the ball to their tight end, Olsen.
Who has 1 catch today after having 8 for 137 yards last week. Wright to throw across the middle, complete. Getting to the first down is Jenkins. And he's got it down to the 33-yard line. First down, Miami. Got 10 yards on a 3rd and 6.
Nice job by Kyle Wright after the street ball play of coming back, picking up a first down. Now they're back on track, moving down the field. Let's just put some first downs together and get this ball into the end zone.
They've worked it to a first down at the 33-yard line. We approach 7 minutes remaining 3rd quarter. 20th ranked Clemson leading number 13 Miami 10-6.
8 people.
And still, are they going to be able to bring down Tyrone Moss? Football out of bounds. Got hit by Ty Hill and coughed it out of bounds, but no damage done.
Had an interesting chat with Ty Hill yesterday, didn't we?
Sure did, and boy, he lights up a room with his personality.
Yeah. He's a sprinter in the ACC, one of the fastest guys in the Atlantic Coast Conference, and he's saying, well, I like to run those guys down. Says, that's where I make my mark. I like it when they got a lead on me and I just chase them down.
Which he did against Reggie McNeil against Texas A&M in their first win of the season. Reggie's not slow. 2nd and 5. Moss again weaving his way through. Might get a first down. I think he's got it. Anthony Waters, the middle linebacker, made the stop. But Tyrone Moss just keeps hecking away inside, breaking tackles. He's up to 74 yards on the ground on 16 carries.
Yeah, what Miami has done is gone back to their original game plan from the start, and that is use the strength of that offensive line, the run game, Moss, and take the pressure off of their quarterback on the road. Just run the football.
Look at big Eric Winston, number 74 there, the 315-pounder, the left tackle who was injured in a game we did against Georgia Tech last year, had to come back, major knee surgery, and first down for Miami. And he's had to work to get through the rust and the pain of rehab, but he is one of the best around.
Well, you know, even though Miami practices at a very high pace, and I've seen their practices, and we've all seen them, and seen, you know, their practices are pretty high speed. Still, the speed of the game on Saturdays against Florida State, I think he had to get rid of some of that rush.
So they've got another first down. Fans trying to get it up for the defense here at the 23-yard line. Moss, inside run again and again. Nice push by Tyrone Moss as he gets 8 more yards on the carry, and it's down to the 15-yard line.
Miami went unbalanced line to the left. Take a look at, they got 3 big guys next to the center. They move the tackle over. They bring Butler over. Winston's on the outside, and there is a huge hole.
It sure was.
Unbalanced line causes some problems with the defense. You got to decide whether you're going to shift your defense or not.
You take a look from behind the Clemson defense. 2nd down and 2. Moss again. First down and more. Got inside the 10 where it's going to be 1st and goal for Miami.
One unbalanced again. Same thing.
Now it's just power football for Miami.
See, look at these big bodies. Whenever you see 3 big bodies next to that center over there, it's the same thing. Same play they ran, just pounded over there on the behind those 2 tackles in the guard.
Now they've got Winston on the right side. They'll run straight up the middle. Moss hit at the line of scrimmage. Nice penetration by David Dunham. Made the first hit. Anthony Waters helped the cause.
Yeah, that time they went unbalanced right side.
5 straight runs by Tyrone Moss, Bob.
Yeah, he's taking a break.
Well, Bob and Brad, I think Larry Coker in the offensive unit, as much as they're trying just to attack the center of Clemson's line, is challenging their own offensive line.
Swanee, what's the weather like down there? Is it as hot as it was earlier?
There's a little bit of a breeze coming through, but it's still hot, Bob.
Let's see if Wright looks to Olsen, his tight end. Play fake. Throws out in the flat. Inside the 5. Quadrant Hill for the touchdown. It's his fullback, and it's worked many times today. A little bit of a bootleg. Quadrant Hill out there in the flat. It's there again. This time it's good for an 8-yard touchdown. So first touchdown of the day for Miami. They're about to take the lead. And they already have, but it looks like a 3-point lead if Petty hits the field goal. Well, we said, how many times can you get the ball in Clemson's end of the field and not do something with it? This time they do, Bob. Right to Hill, and Hill to the end zone. Hurricanes lead 13-10. College football on ABC Sports brought to you by Chrysler. Inspiration comes standard. Allstate, a proud sponsor of the Bowl Championship Series. And Singular, raising the bar. Clemson fans looking on their team behind now for the 2nd time today. Earlier it was a field goal that started the scoring. Then Clemson put the 10 points in the middle. And now Miami's gone on a short field, just 47 yards in a little over 5 minutes to get a touchdown from Kyle Wright to Quadrant Hill. And the Canes lead by 3, 13-10. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan on our ABC crew. A few shadows down there on the left side of Frank Howard Field now. Might cool things off by the 4th quarter. Still a hot day. And the kick by Monroe goes out of bounds. So Clemson's finally going to have decent field position, and it's because of a penalty. Let's take a look at our Chrysler passing playbook, Robert.
All right, Ness, we've been talking about the unbalanced line. And it's right over here. We've been using the all bounds, and they've been running the football. This time they're going to throw the ball. The receiver's going downfield. They're going to fake in here on the run and sneak the ball out to the fullback on the outside. There's a play action fake. Let's go ahead and run it. Now the fullback sneaks out. Going to get him the ball. The 2 guys on the outside clear out. And that's just good play calling by Dan Werner up in the press box, the offensive coordinator. You show off unbalanced, you run, and then you get a touchdown to your fullback.
Reggie Merriweather's checked into the backfield for Clemson and now empties out of there as they start at their own 35. They're going to swing the pass out. Chancey Stuckey with a couple of blocks in front of him. Stuckey with big-time speed, and he gets to midfield. They are beating up that little pass out there. And eventually they might go to something else off it, but it's good for 15 yards.
That may be a little pass, but that is a difficult throw. The guy's running dead away from you, and you've got to throw it not too far in front of him or behind him. And now he just uses his running ability. How many catches is that for Stuckey? What do we got?
Chancey's 6-yard gain out of Whitehurst today. 6 catches for Stuckey for 50 yards. Going the other way. Same kind of play. This is the freshman now. Trying to put a move on out in the open field. Tyler Grisham. And Tyler gets about 5 more yards. Clemson's got something moving. We'll see if they can keep it going after we check in with John in New York.
Brad, time for the singular All-America Player of the Week update. How about Reggie McNeil of Texas A&M? 80 yards here to Irvin Taylor. Part of 349 yards passing, 5 touchdown passes. He also ran for 100 yards and a touchdown. Text the word vote to 87654 now on your singular phone for your ballot and a chance to win a trip to the national championship. Brad.
Wow, we just mentioned Reggie McNeil earlier. Huge day for him. Charlie Whitehurst on a bootleg, and he had a man open, and he overshot it. Wide open was Bobby Williamson, his tight end, and he threw it too high.
Yeah, he was a little careless there. He had a great fake, came rolling out, but he had a couple guys to throw it to. That's Downer. He's covered, but right behind him is the other tight end, Williamson. Just threw it a little high.
Charlie knows it, too. He came back to the huddle shaking his head and knew he had a shot there to pick up a big play. Williamson, one of 2 tight ends, set in there. Whitehurst had hit his last 6 passes in a row. Now he'll work from the shotgun on 3rd down and 5. Here comes the heat from the Canes. Over the middle. Tips. Would have been a first down if he could have held it. Kelvin Grant, it was thrown, I think, a little bit behind him, or it got tipped. One of the 2. And it's going to bring up 4th down.
One of the problems of passing when you're going in that direction, you're looking dead into the sun. You see the long shadows on the field. That may have been one of the reasons why Charlie overthrew Williamson with that pass on 2nd down.
There's some of the construction going on to a brand new facility that will have weight room and offices and skyboxes down there in the left end zone. So another punt upcoming. And this time, Miami trying to block the punt, roughed up the kicker. And I think this is going to be roughing the kicker. I think either way, it's a first down, whether it's running into or roughing. And the Clemson Tigers are going to keep it alive by penalty. Well, that's the price you pay sometimes when you're trying to block the kicks.
Exactly. You live by the sword, die by the sword. Miami's blocked a bunch of punts, scored on a lot of special teams. But when you go after the punter, that's Brian Potter. There is no question.
Now that's just dangerous. That's why that play has to be called, and that's why that's roughing the punter, because your body doesn't go in that direction. And the punter for Clemson takes it for the team. Penalties killing Miami as they have for so many years. And Clemson, look at that. When's the last time you saw almost 3/4 of football and no penalties on a team?
Well, Clemson is the least penalized team in the ACC.
First down now at the 30-yard line. The drive stays alive. Merriweather, pickup of a couple. Merriweather had the big game against Miami last year. He's the kind of a little spark plug, about 5'8", about 210. He hasn't played much in this game. Davis started and has played most of the way, but last year Reggie had 114 yards and 3 touchdowns, including the capper in overtime. So who knows, we might have seen the last of James Davis today. Put the veteran in there, because this guy did the work last year against the Canes and the upset win down at the Orange Bowl. And now they're going to lean on him a little bit here again today, maybe, to try to get something going with their ground game. 2nd down and 8. Whitehurst, there's the screen, and this time it's dropped. Aaron Kelly had his hands on it. Forgot to take it with him. And
if he could have taken it with him, he may have taken it to the house, because he had some people out there that blocked for him.
How many times have they run that play today?
A lot, but if you think he's embarrassed about not making that catch in front of 80,000 people at Death Valley, wait until he sits in the room with the other wide receivers and looks at it on tape.
Yeah, that's a good point. So now 3rd down and a long 8. This would be wasteful for Clemson if they aren't able to capitalize on the roughing the punter penalty.
man rush.
Whitehurst going deep. Got a man. Stuckey, but he overshot it. Oh, if he could have just pulled the string a little bit, might have been a touchdown. Now do you give Jad Dean a long field goal attempt? About a 47, 48 yarder. Looks like it.
Which way's the breeze blowing down there, Swanee?
Well, when the breeze is blowing, it's blowing left to right. So it's not going to help him a whole lot, but you can see the flag on top of the goalpost he's going for. It's hanging straight down.
His
so
longest last year was 48. This is a 45-yard field goal attempt from the right hash mark to try to tie the game. Wait a minute, penalty markers down, whistles blow. This could be a very costly penalty against Clemson if that's the call.
Before the snap, false start, 63 offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
Boy, that is a big-time 5-yard penalty. You say, well, what's 5 yards?
Yeah.
5 yards is the difference between hitting a field goal and missing a field goal.
Yeah.
And now you're going to ask.
Doesn't matter whether you're kicking a 30 or 25, 30 or 35-yard field goal, but when you get out to 52.
It's going to be exactly 50, but this would be the best of his career if he hits it to try to tie it up. With 2:03 to go in the third quarter. Jad Dean, kick, no. Somebody may have gotten a hand on it. Line drive.
Sometimes, you know, it just gets in the head of the kicker. Oh, they backed me up 5 yards. I got to kick it harder. Those kickers are strange sometimes.
So Clemson can't capitalize on that roughing the punter penalty. They get no points. They still trail. Miami with the ball in the lead when we come back. Welcome back to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. Jad Dean asked to kick from 50 yards. Nowhere near it. Score didn't change. Miami with a 3-point lead as they take over offensively again and again with good field position following the missed field goal. Devin Hester went off the field, headed to the locker room. Swanee looks like cramps for sure.
Well, he was on the field and sitting up, grabbing his toes, trying to stretch it out. You can see there, every time he bends his legs, he was cramping up. And it wasn't just one leg, it was both legs. Interestingly enough, Miami was practicing at the same time as kickoff for today's game just to make sure they were the right time of day. But when it's this hot, you can still cramp up.
Handoff goes to Thomas. Thomas in there to give Tyrone Moss a little breather, and he rips off an 11-yard run. Tonight, ESPN has a meeting of a couple of teams from the ACC that should be a dandy. Bobby Bowden leads Florida State Seminoles into Chestnut Hill for a showdown against Boston College, making its ACC debut. College football primetime presented by Polaroid on ESPN tonight. 7:45 Eastern. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. And that'll be a dandy. Tom O'Brien, good coach, good team. Bobby Bowden taking his Seminoles up there.
Unbalanced line again for Miami to the right side.
It's worked for them a lot. This time they'll throw off play action from it. Man open in the middle. Sonora's Moss, but the pass nowhere near him. Kyle Wright ends up on his backside after delivering that one hopper. So we're down to the final minute of the third quarter, 13-10. Wright is 11 of 20, but he's been sacked 4 times, and he's only thrown for 61 yards.
Yeah, and you know he's going to be a good quarterback. I mean, he's got all the things you need. He's smart. He's big. He's got a gun. He's got the touch. He's intelligent, but you just need experience, and that doesn't come when you just walk onto the field. You have to earn the experience. And nobody ever starts out with a lot of experience.
Right now, his ground game is trying to bail him out of this ball game on the road. First ever visit to Death Valley for the Hurricanes of Miami. This series, only the 7th game between these two teams. Miami with a big advantage, the rushing yardage, obviously, here in the second half. Might be the final play right here of the third quarter. Right on the shotgun. Kyle steps up and fires in the middle. Got a man open, and it's a first down throw. And Sonora's Moss on his way down the sideline. Moss with great speed has got him first and goal, Miami. Ty Hill saved a touchdown.
That's what these Miami receivers will give you, is if you can just get them the ball, they have tremendous running ability and speed. Moss just took a little curl.
turn it upfield for 42 yards. And it's going to be 1st and goal for Miami to start the 4th quarter. Can Clemson come from behind now in the final 15 minutes at home? Or will the Canes go to 1-1? Our presentation of college football continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television.
Let's go back and take a look at that last play. Here's Moss. He's just going to cook in the middle of the field, and after he catches it, down the sideline. But here is the fastest guy in the ACC going to catch him, Ty Hill.
And Ty Hill relishes these moments. He's got blazing speed, 4.1. He would rather not have to use it, but moments like this, he says he wants to prove that nobody can outrun him, and he chases down the wide receiver like a cheetah on the hunt.
Well, it's a good thing he's one of the fastest guys in the conference for Clemson fans, because that would have been a touchdown. 13-10 Miami, as they've scored in every quarter. Clemson put up 10 in the second. We start the 4th. Entering the 4th quarter with a lead, Miami doesn't lose often. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan, our ABC crew in Death Valley. 1st and goal, Hurricanes.
Unbalanced line to the right.
Tyrone Moss broke 1 tackle, trying to break 2, and does, and got very close. Man, he was just taking people with it.
Miami has found something. This offensive, this unbalanced line, the offensive line is doing. Clemson is either hasn't adjusted to it or is not doing a very good job. There's McMeans, number 68. Moss just runs through a tackle, and he just barely misses getting into the end zone. 2nd and goal at the 1.
Miami trying to stretch its lead. Moss again. Touchdown, Hurricanes. Power football for Miami.
Exactly. They came out the second half, rededicated themselves to that offensive line and says, we're going to go out and pound them. We're going to go unbalanced. We're going to go right at them. And it looks like they're wearing that defensive line of Clemson down.
An extra point away from doubling the point total on the board. Miami on the road, getting tough in the second half. Extra point is up and wobbly, but good.
Like a knuckleball.
Yeah. 40 seconds into the 4th quarter. And it's Miami 20-10. Sonoris Moss got him close. Tyrone Moss got him in. Clemson can gather no Moss. Miami leads 20-10. 20-10 now. It's Miami with a lead in the 4th quarter. We showed the graphic. They don't lose much when they've got the lead going in the 4th quarter. They're just doing power football right now. I guess if you're a Clemson fan, they've come from behind in their first 2 wins. There's hope.
You got to hang on to that, especially with Whitehurst, a 5th-year senior who has brought them back so many times. You know, you're playing at home. It's this perfect situation.
2 guys go for the ball. It's Coleman who fields it at the 14. And got across the 20 to the 21.
I guess the only thing that's not perfect is that it's against the Hurricanes.
That's right.
Here's a look.
Charlie Whitehurst in his career has done it a bunch of times. Come from behind to win. He's had more starts than anyone except one quarterback in Division 1A football right now at this point in his career. And Brad Smith of Missouri is the only guy that started more games than Charlie, and that's only 1 more game than Whitehurst has. So now, the guy that put him in front with his big play, first with his legs and then with his arm, is asked to bring him from behind again. 14-14 left in the ball game. 20-10 Miami. Davis back in at the tailback spot. They fake it to him. Nice bootleg, throwing out to the tight end. And Cole Downer, who has the touchdown catch, got hit low, and he's not moving right now. John Beeson got him about knee high as he turned to try to turn it upfield. Cole, a senior out of Chantilly, Virginia. You see he turns and took it right on the left knee. I don't know if it was the left knee or the landing. It could have been either.
It was kind of interesting, Brad. Bob and I were talking the other day, and Bob, what did you ask me if I'd rather be taller as a wide receiver? And I said no, because when you're tall or you're a big tight end, you always worry about guys hitting you low about your knees. That's the kind of hit I was talking about.
Could have been a Gets hit right
There's
there.
the hit on the lower leg, and then
it also lands on his left shoulder.
Yeah, I said the landing was as bad as the hit was.
Yeah.
On the way he's wiggling his legs down here on his back.
Yeah, they're not looking at his legs, are they?
No.
So the left shoulder possibly on the landing there for Cole. He had the touchdown catch earlier in the ball game. Had 3 receptions in the win over Texas A&M. And we'll check on him and hope that he's up after this timeout. 14 minutes remaining here at Clemson. There's Cole Downer, made it to the sideline. Took a long time before he finally sat up. Looks to be his left shoulder or shoulder clavicle area. But I'm not sure at this point. At any rate, he gets over to the sideline, and Clemson throws out in the flat. James Davis. And Davis got a first down. He has had trouble running, but the swing pass gets him 8 yards.
Now, this is a long way from high school, which he was in last year at this time against the Miami Hurricanes. This is a veteran defense with lots of quickness. Randy Shannon, the defensive coordinator for, well, he's been at the school for like 12 years. He hasn't been the coordinator that long, but he does a great job with these Miami Hurricanes defensive players.
When they run as good as those two ends like Carroll and Pata, and the linebackers have always been good. You know the history of the linebacking corps in Miami.
And there's a long lineage of defensive linemen.
Yep.
Defensive backs coming out of there.
Whitehurst throws incomplete. And a flag comes in. It's going to be the second pass interference call on Maxey today. And it was on much the same pattern intended for Chancey Stuckey.
Well, let's take a look.
There he had a hold of Jersey
Little
there.
holding. I don't know if it was interference, but I think it was holding.
And that maybe is what they're going to call it. It is holding.
Against an eligible receiver, against number 24 defense.
Yeah.
10 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And you saw a handful of Jersey. The officials right on top of it. And a first down Clemson.
You know, when you're this aggressive, as Miami is, especially defensively, when you're that aggressive, I mean, the coaches don't never like to see penalties, but they're going to live with those. I mean, because they know if you're aggressive, you got to fight and scratch. You're going to hold a little bit. They're going to let you get by with some of that.
So a first down for the Tigers. Here's a toss, fleet flicker. Whitehurst throws complete. Penalty marker on the play. Pickup of 7 or 8 as he got it to Bobby Williamson, his other tight end. And Williamson gets up limping. Clemson's going to run out of tight ends pretty soon.
Yep.
I would imagine they're going to take this 5-yard penalty instead of the 7-yard gain. They'll make it first down and 3 in Miami territory, but we'll wait and see.
Look at that tight end. Look at those guns he's got.
Offsides, defense. 5-yard penalty, previous spot. Repeat first down.
Well, those guns were on the other side of the ball last year.
Well, 2 years ago, he was a tight end. Then last year, he was a defensive end. And now back to a tight end. We were at practice the other day, and I want to tell you, he catches and runs with very nicely.
Yeah, he's got good hands.
Soft hands. And you know he can block. If he was a defensive end, he's got that mean streak.
Bobby out of that Tampa area down there. Tarpon Springs. So now 2 tight ends on the sideline for Clemson. On a first down and 5. Whitehurst over the middle, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver. Nice defensive job by Leon Williams on Bayham. Let's check in with John in New York.
Brad, for the Pontiac game-changing performance update, might it be this Adrian Peterson run, perhaps the start of a comeback? They were down 20-10 until Peterson scored here, and now within a field goal, 20-17 the score as they're just underway in the 4th quarter. That's your Pontiac game-changing performance update. Brad, back to you.
All right, John, thanks. I'm not sure who that would be a bigger win for.
Well, that just tells you about a team like Oklahoma. When you lose your quarterback and your offensive line.
Whitehurst going deep. And he overshot everybody. Intended for Kelvin Grant. And a penalty marker in the Clemson backfield. I think it might be a holding call back here against Clemson. Plus Charlie Whitehurst took a shot when he let go of the football. So penalties cropping up a little bit here on the fourth quarter. Williamson, the tight end, is back out there, we see. How about Cole Downer, Swanee? Anything new?
Well, they're saying he has a strained left shoulder. They're putting ice on it as we speak. I asked if he'd be going back into the ball game, and the only comment was that it would be
73 offense. 10 yards from previous spot. Repeat second down.
And as Swanee gave the injury report, you saw the holding call against Clemson.
Injury reports, the injury reports we get these days are not what they used to be in the past.
No, that's for sure.
Not because our man on the field doesn't try. We just don't.
They don't give out information anymore.
They can't give it out.
They can't give it out. Second down at 15. Clemson does not want to go any further into the shadows. They want to go the other way. Trying to do it on the ground. Finally, a little bit of a crease for Davis. He got about 7, and he was a shoestring away maybe from getting a first down. Kenny Phillips, another true freshman, is the guy that made the tackle defensively for the Canes. So number 1 against number 1.
Yeah, 2 freshmen.
Time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Continental postgame report. John Craig and Aaron will have scores and highlights from across the country. One number 1 goes out, the other number 1 stays in. And it's third down and long. Whitehurst has a look at things and doesn't like what he sees. A timeout taken. Important down coming up for Clemson if they're to keep the drive alive and their hopes alive in this football game. Devin Hester back from the locker room, back in the secondary for Miami. And looking at Charlie Whitehurst in the offense, only 2 for 7 on third downs passing. Part of a 2 for 12 day on third down for Clemson. They need this one. Whitehurst deep middle's got a man just over the outstretched fingertips of Curtis Bayhand. That would have been a first down and a whole bunch more.
He just needed to take 1 second. You saw him look to his left to hold the safety left. He knew he was coming back to the right, but when he came back to the right, he threw it too quick. He just needed to settle himself down, find where the receiver was, and then lay it in there because he was over.
As he goes over the sideline, you saw that when he took his helmet off. And Cole Chasen set to punt. Darnell Jenkins has taken Devin Hester's spot back there, so Devin doesn't have to do any more work in the secondary, at least for now. Plus, they may use him offensively as a tailback, as they have at times today. Chasen, nice punt. Jenkins backpedals and takes at the 8-yard line. Dangerous spot in the field run, but I guess he knew what he was doing. All the way out to the 22, maybe the 23-yard line. Nice return by Jenkins. And decent field position for Miami, considering they have a 10-point lead and the ball with 11:39 remaining in the ball game. Thursday night, Connecticut Sun fought back to tie Sacramento's Monarchs at a game apiece tomorrow at 4 Eastern. Join ABC Sports in Sacramento. It's Game 3 of the WNBA Finals presented by Capital One. Sellout crowd at Memorial Stadium, hoping that their team can come from behind for the 3rd straight week in the 4th quarter. But they trail Miami by 10. Jones, the tailback, on the call and on the carry, and he's going nowhere. Trey Tates made first contact, and then Corey Groover helped him.
Miami's had the ball 3 times in the second half and has scored on the last 2 possessions. They're getting very good field position.
That's been the big help to them all day long. And the last drive, remember, started in Clemson territory for the 3rd time in a row, and they made that one pay off with a touchdown. They're a little deeper in their own land here. 2nd and long. Jones again out to the 26. And we go out to John in New York.
Brad, Oklahoma in danger of falling to 1 and 2. They were climbing back, but Drew Olson goes to a wide open Mercedes Lewis here. 19 yards. The Bruins now lead it by 10, 27-17. Plenty of time left in the 4th quarter, but Oklahoma having all kinds of problems with their offense. Brad.
A big win for Carl Durrell, huh?
It would. Sure would when you're sitting in the shadow of the crosstown champion USC.
Right.
3rd down and long. Wright fires on a little inside screen of his own. Sonoris Moss, can they track him down? Not before I think he got the first down.
It's close.
Michael Hamlin made the tackle. Now it's all about the spot and probably the chains coming over. Boy, it looked like they had that thing bottled up, but Sonoris is a slippery character. A lot of speed and good moves. And the guy they call Nori, one of their captains, might have him a first down here.
No, I think they gave it to him. They're already back up to the line.
Yeah, they did. They didn't even bring the chains out.
Yeah, he made it.
First down, Miami. Now they fake the end around. They go straight up the middle. And again, it's Jones this time for about 9, maybe 10.
Jones is I think he's a redshirt sophomore. He needs to stay out of the way of that umpire. You don't need to run into him. You need to run around him.
Supposed to use him as a blocker. Jones, who didn't play the second half against Florida State for throwing a punch in the second quarter of that game. And of course, he served his 1 half of a game suspension because of that. That served in the second half against the Seminoles, so he's had the opportunity to play the whole game today. Though he's just starting to see action here in the second half, and he's doing a good job. Looks like he got almost 10 yards.
Yeah, he's one of those running backs behind Moss, Deron Thomas, and Charlie Jones. Those 3 guys are going to be the guys you're going to hear about at the University of Miami for the next 2 or 3 years.
Just that much short.
Yeah. Brad, you know, when we started this, we started out at the beginning. We said Miami's had 1 loss. You know, can they take another? And I said no. I said they need to win this one to get back into the ACC and the national championship. And you know, just because they lost a game and an early game doesn't mean that they can't get back into the national picture.
Remember, they won one of their national championships after starting 0-1. That was in 1983. Lost their opener and then went on to win the championship.
Now here's teams that went on to play in the championship game.
Second down and inches. Straight ahead, first down and a whole bunch more. Charlie Jones for 13 more yards, and it's been the power running game of Miami that has them in control of this game right now. Here's the teams this year now with 1 loss that still have a chance.
Miami and Texas A&M are the only 2 coming in that have not won a game. I don't know about Oklahoma.
They're losing right now.
The way they're playing. But I would say all these teams that have lost a game early still have a chance to get back in the national picture.
Back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard for Jones. Now we're down and approaching the 8.5-minute mark. This game, as far as the speed of game, has started to pick up because of Miami's running game. And now Thomas is going to be the 3rd man in. Nope, he's going to backpedal now. They're going to bring in an extra wide receiver. Well, maybe he will. Jones came out saying, I need either a breather or I'm injured. And finally, Thomas trots out there because you saw Tyron Moss with his hat off on the sideline. And Jones ran off and motioned for somebody to come in and take his spot. And finally, Thomas got out there.
You saw Butler, number 64, sliding over to this side, unbalanced to the left.
Wright got rid of it somehow. Boy, I don't know how he did that. Charlie Bennett had Kyle Wright dead to right, and he got rid of the football. Don't forget, Monday night ABC Sports, ESPN, and the NFL joined to help the victims of Hurricane Katrina with a Monday Night Football doubleheader for you. Throughout the evening in a special fundraising telethon, you'll have a chance to donate to the relief efforts. 7:30, the Giants and the Saints. That goes till 9, then moves to ESPN. The Redskins and the Cowboys at 9 on ABC. Special doubleheader. We hope you join us. It's for all our friends in the Gulf Coast area devastated by Hurricane Katrina. We hope you help out, and we hope you watch on Monday night.
Sonoris Moss has 3 catches, all on 3rd down.
Quadrant Hill. A lone setback, and he took the inside handoff and got to about the 42-yard line. And now, if Miami chooses to punt, they're going to try to knock this thing down inside the 10 somewhere and bury Clemson with 7 minutes and 40 seconds. It'll actually be right around 7 minutes when they have to kick it. And I think, you know, Brian Monroe, that guy right there, has done a nice job and a quiet job in winning the field position battle today, and that certainly has helped Miami's cause.
Well, when you look at where Miami has started and where Clemson has started, it's the punting and the return yardage for the Hurricanes that have made a big difference in where the offenses have started.
I think we're going to have a legal substitution or too many men on the field on Miami.
Dead ball. Illegal substitution, 12 men on the field, 4th down.
Well, both those things. It was Greg Olson that was the extra man, I think, that was trying to get off before the punt. And Larry Coker, even if he wins this game, is not going to be happy by the number of penalties. And as Bob said, the aggressive ones you can live with. The ones where you have to knock yourself in the temple and go think, those are the ones driving you crazy.
The offensive penalties, the offensive line penalties, the holding, and the illegal procedure penalties, those will drive you nuts. The defensive and the special teams aggressive penalties you can live with.
Monroe, he might like this spot better even. Trying to kick it to the sideline. Taking up to 14. Chancey Stuckey taking a chance, trying to get whatever he can. It isn't much, but he got it near the 19-yard line. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Pontiac. Go online and nominate your Pontiac game-changing performance. Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Dr. Pepper, one taste and you get it. Pacific Life for insurance, annuities, and investments. Choose Pacific Life, the power to help you succeed. And Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right. It's starting to be a just right day. It's starting to cool off a little bit. The sun going down over the far side and over Lake Hartwell and over Memorial Stadium. Clemson needs some points and a comeback or their fans are going to go home sad. Devin Hester broke that one up, intended for Aaron Kelly. And we are down to 6:57 to play in the ball game. Clemson came in ranked 20th in the country, their first 2-0 start in 4 years after beating Texas A&M and Maryland, both in back-to-back come from behind fourth quarter wins. And Miami, as we said, hasn't started 0-2 since 1978, and it's starting to look like they won't this year again.
Now this whole thing's going to be a passing drill now.
Whitehurst slants complete, should be a first down. Curtis Bayham, who had that great catch on the long ball down the middle, gets this one and a flag on the field. And this one's into the field of play. It's not at the line of scrimmage. It's holding against Miami. That's why I was thrown out in that flat area.
Brad, that was going to be against Devin Hester, number 4, who was in there. And prior to the game, I talked to the defensive backs coach, Tim Walton, for Miami. And then I was also talking to Dan Warner, the offensive coordinator. So how do you divide up his time?
Holding.
Hester between the offense and the defense.
Defense against an eligible receiver. 10 yards to the previous spot. Automatic first down.
As you see the penalty being marked off. And he said he spends most of his time on defense, making sure he knows where to line up, working on skills to cover. He said early on in his career, he spent enough time with the offense, and they use him on just specific plays on the offense where he doesn't have to be over there quite as much. But he's got to brush up a little bit on his technique, I'm noticing over here, too.
Good point. He's one dangerous guy when he gets his hands on the football in whatever form it may be. First down now for the Clemson offense. Empty backfield as Whitehurst will throw on first down. Charlie goes complete, short gain out to about the 33, maybe the 34-yard line to Bayham. Pretty soon, Bob, they're going to have to get vertical with this thing because we're down around the 6-minute mark.
Yeah, Charlie Whitehurst, 19 of 34, 168 yards, but you're right. He still hasn't thrown an interception, or Clemson still hasn't had a turnover this year in their first nearly 3 complete ball games, but
picked up just 6 there. And now Davis in there with Whitehurst in the gun on a 2nd and 4. Pumps, now wants to throw the screen to Davis. Davis wheels, works his way back to the middle of the field, and he's got a first down. Across the 40. Thomas Carroll made the tackle, but he got 6.
You get it to the guy that's got a lot of speed. It was like kind of like a slip screen or a little draw play with a little pitch forward to him, hoping that he can get a short reception and a long run, but Miami's got just as much speed as Davis.
Yep. He didn't see this much speed back at Douglas High School in Atlanta last year. Well, he put up huge numbers. Whitehurst down the middle. Would have been a tough catch for Bayham, who laid out, but a flag flies in. Phillips and Williams are both there. Looks like it's going to be a first down by penalty for Clemson. Kenny Phillips.
Defensive pass interference. Number 1 defense. Automatic first down. Spot of the foul.
Miami coaches and players so high on this kid, the true freshman. And he had his right arm, you can see, around the right leg of Boeheim. That's why the penalty was called. It wasn't what he did with his front arm. It's that right there on the backside of Boeheim where the call was made. It's a good call. Kenny Phillips, his teammates say he's got the body of Sean Taylor and the mind frame of Ed Reed. If he ends up being as good as either one of those guys, he's a player. Whitehurst throws outside. Tough catch, and a great catch by Aaron Kelly. First down, Clemson. They got something working. 5.5 minutes left.
Did he come down in bounds? I guess he did.
Came down right about at the 37-yard line. Watch this pitch and catch. It's coming right at you. Not to mention getting his helmet yanked on the way down. First down at the 37. Tigers trying to come from behind, trailing by 10. A little over 5 minutes left. Whitehurst across the middle. Got it complete. This one's to Kelvin Grant, who went out shaken up earlier when he had to field that kickoff and got cartwheeled. We didn't know if we'd see too much more of him. He's back out there, and he's got the completion. Time permitting, don't forget, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. John and Craig and Aaron will have all the scores and highlights from across the country. Pick up a 4 on the last play. Second down and 6.
Kane's not getting much of a pass rush. The defensive linemen have been, it's been a long day for those 4 guys.
Charlie Whitehurst down the middle, got a man on the run inside the 15, down to the 10. First and goal, Tigers. Curtis Boeheim again.
It's just something about certain guys that don't get flustered, that just say, hey, we'll just come back and score, and then if we have enough time, we'll score again.
They move the chains.
What Whitehurst has done.
And the fact that they've done it 2 weeks in a row certainly helps their confidence. It's first and goal, Clemson. Trying to cut the lead to 3 and then cut it further. Now it's Charlie Whitehurst's ball game for Clemson to win or lose. Miami might have been offside. Whitehurst scrambling. He's going to keep it. Oh, took a big hit at the end of the play.
Right next to the flag.
The guy down is Nanton. It is offside against Miami. So to stop the clock, and with the injury and the penalty, Clemson's going to be down around the 4-yard line. And here again at the end of the play, Charlie trying to get down. McIntosh coming with a head of steam, helmet to helmet. I'm not so sure that should have been a second penalty, but Whitehurst got back up. He'll be happy with the first down. He won't be happy with a headache. Wow. Bob, you always want to protect quarterbacks. You're not saying much.
I was just looking to see how Nanton got that injury, and I think he kind of hyperextended his left knee. No, I'm all for protecting those quarterbacks.
I think there should have been an offside penalty and a personal foul at the end of the play, 2 of them against Miami. Eighth penalty against Miami's defense. Nanton going off or limping off. Now they've got to spot the ball down inside the 5, where it'll be first and goal. Offside and illegal use of hands. There were 2 penalties on Miami. So down inside the 5, first and goal for the Tigers, trailing by 10 here in the 4th quarter. Time running out on them. Whitehurst gives off to Davis. Davis goalward, but got only inside the 2.
They cannot get anything on the ground, and that running the ball, the clock keeps running.
I don't want to say they're wasting time, but now they'll go to their hurry-up no-huddle offense, I would assume. You see the linemen just stay there. They never leave the ball. 2 tight ends in there, but Downer, their starting tight end, is out with an injury. The fans getting restless. They want Clemson to hurry up. 2nd and goal. Whitehurst, Davis. He's close. They're not going to give it to him, though. You see the linesman come over and put it at the 1-foot line, and it's going to tick under 3 minutes now. And now they might take a timeout. They do. So they're in about 1 minute and 20 seconds, roughly. We'll take the timeout with them. Clemson in need of a touchdown. They're inches away. We'll see if they can get it when we return. They beat Texas A&M in week 1, came from 10 down to Maryland last week to win. They're being asked to do the same thing here, trailing Miami by 10. 3rd and goal at the 1. Whitehurst, touchdown, Clemson. .258 remaining. An important extra point coming up, but the Tigers are in the end zone again.
Clemson has 1 timeout remaining.
So they used a little over 4 minutes on that drive. It started deep in their own territory. Their senior quarterback does the honors. Now Jad Dean. This is a huge extra point. It's up and good. 81-yard drive in 9 plays. Clemson still in the hunt. 20-17 Miami in front as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary in this second half. Power football of Miami, but also using the fullback was Kyle Wright. That touchdown gave Miami the lead. Then after a penalty forced a long field goal attempt. Dean missed badly. That might have been the difference in a tie game right now. Tyrone Moss after a long reception by Sonoris Moss with a 1-yard dive, and now Charlie Whitehurst the same story from a yard out. There's where we stand with 2:58 remaining. It is 20-17. The Hurricanes lead the Tigers.
Now the pressure goes back to the Miami offense. Here's a note. Clemson, if they're going to try an onside kick, they have not been very good at it.
The lone deep man for Miami is Devin Hester. I don't know that he thinks he's going to see the football or not. And if you don't onside it, whatever you do, don't kick it to him.
Well, they've only recovered 1 in the last, what, 26 years, so.
Chad Dean, junior out of Greenwood, South Carolina. Set to tee it up. Now Miami sends a second man back deep, and Darnell Jenkins.
In college, you have to keep 4 guys on one side and at least 4 guys on one side of the field. The pros, the NFL, you can take everybody over there. So
let's see what they do. They've only got 1 timeout left. If Miami can get some first downs moving, it will be the end of the ball game. He's going to kick away and deep, and his best kick of the day by far goes out of the back of the end zone. So Miami will start at the 20-yard line, and they have a 3-point lead. Now the defense of the Tigers is going to ask for some noise. And earlier this week in his news conference, Tommy Biden said, one thing my daddy did tell me, if you don't make noise against Miami with your fans, you're not going to mess them up too much. We need some noise in Death Valley this week. I think he's getting it right now.
He said, you've got the 12th man up there. You need to use it. It's amazing how much talking to Tommy, it sounds like his daddy.
You got that right. The toss sweep. Tyrone Moss stopped for no gain. Anthony Waters, the middle linebacker. The clock winds down to 2:45 and counting. Remember, Clemson, you can see it there, just 1 timeout. They need a couple stops here. Miami's going to use some clock. Here come the fans again.
If you're Miami, all you need is a couple of first downs, but I don't think you're going to get it on the ground. Do you chance throwing the ball with Kyle Wright?
Not this time. Nowhere to run again. Maybe you pick up a 2 or 3, but it's 3rd down and long. Now the biggest down of the ball game is at hand. Under 2 minutes.
Larry Coker has played to his strength all day, and that is his defense and his offensive line, the running game, not the quarterback.
You'll know in a minute whether or not Clemson will have a chance to get their hands back on the football. Here comes the blitz. Wright is hit and dropped inside the 15. Charles Bennett with a sack.
He was going to his tight end, Olsen, who was double covered. He's looking for Olsen. He's double covered. He pumps, and he gets hit.
Charles Bennett and Gaines Adams, the 2 defensive ends, are roommates, and all week long they say, I'll beat you to the quarterback. That time was Bennett's turn. Punting situation for Brian Monroe from his own goal line upcoming. A frenzied full house at Memorial Stadium. And Chancey Stuckey waiting on the other end. This is where you need a good, clean snap for your punter. This part of South Carolina is about to shift. It's moving up here.
And it's the loudest it has been all day on the sideline. If I didn't have 2 earpieces in my ears, I wouldn't hear you or myself.
There you see Brian Monroe, the junior punter, who's done a fine job all day long for Miami. He's only had 1 block in his career. I would imagine Clemson's going to set up a return here for Stuckey because they should get it somewhere around midfield unless he really gets a hold of it.
And all they need is a field goal to tie.
John Rochford, number 66, will snap it right into your living room. Oh, they got a good rush. Stuckey's going to have to let it bounce, and everybody trying to get out of the way, but it will be at about the 44-yard line. Clemson's got time. We've seen the comebacks in the 4th quarter. First it was week 1. A record performance by Jad Dean field goal wise gave Clemson the 1-point win over the Aggies. Then last week, 10 points down. And it was Reggie Merriweather on a 3rd and 8, taking it all the way for the touchdown to beat the Terps by 4. Now down 10 to 13th ranked Miami. It's a 3-point game. Charlie Whitehurst, the senior quarterback at the controls, has it at his own 44-yard line.
Now, what does Miami do defensively? Do they sit back or they come after him?
Whitehurst, quick slant, got it to his man. First down in Miami territory at the 45-yard line. Pickup of 11. Clock will stop to move the chains. Remember, Clemson's out of timeouts. But every time they can move the sticks, it'll stop long enough for that no-huddle offense to come up to the ball. 1:13, 1:12, and the clock running at the 45 of Miami. 4 wideouts for Whitehurst. Whitehurst with plenty of time. Down the middle. Got his man again. At the 21-yard line is Curtis Bayham. First down, Clemson, a pickup of 14. Only 3 times has Clemson ever had double-digit comeback wins. There's the first 3. They're trying for number 4 right here. Now the crowd quiets for the offense. First down at the 31-yard line. Whitehurst, quick drop, quick slants, no flag. Incomplete, intended for Stuckey. Kelly Jennings was the defender.
Miami came after Charlie that time. Whitehurst has done a great job bringing this team back. Miami played zone the first time, blitzed the second time, and blitzed the third time. They're coming after him.
Second down and 10. More importantly, 31-yard line is the line of scrimmage. No timeouts left and 46 ticks remain on the Memorial Stadium clock. Jad Dean has got that chin strap on and ready to try to tie it, but Clemson would love to win it right here. Whitehurst throws, complete to Stuckey at the 10-yard line.
What a great throw.
21-yard pass play. Whitehurst to Stuckey.
What a great throw.
Miami had a 20-10 lead in this ball game. Clemson took it the length of the field, 81 yards for their last touchdown, and now they're 10 yards away from a win. First and 10. They can get a first down inside the 1. Whitehurst hit as he throws. Incomplete.
Miami's backed up. They're going to come after you.
26 seconds, all that's left.
That was Ponder inside, number 35 on a blitz.
Just outside the 10-yard line, 26 seconds left. Clemson out of timeouts. Trying to come from behind in the fourth quarter against the 13th ranked team in the country and trying to win their third straight ball game. Miami's first ever visit to Death Valley. Will it be deadly?
I think the only way Miami stops Charlie Whitehurst is by a turnover. Knock the ball loose or pick it off.
Whitehurst throws incomplete. His receiver ran to the end zone, Aaron Kelly, and he threw a quick out. And now it's third down. Miami had a tremendous record entering the fourth quarter with a lead. And only 3 times ever have they lost when they led going into the final stanza.
177-3.
Now, is it one play to try to get a touchdown and then kick the field goal and play to overtime? That's what we're about to find out. Remember, it's possible, not probable, but possible to get a first down inside the 1-yard line for Clemson. Whitehurst from the shotgun.
Here they come.
Whitehurst to the corner of the end zone. Chancey Stuckey. Oh, and he was wide open. Just too far in front of him. Nobody within 10 yards.
Yeah, but he had to throw that ball when he was covered. He just ran uncovered, and he had to lay it out. He thought he laid it out there good enough.
And the field goal unit comes on. He took a big shot in the chest when he let go of that ball, but you're going to see how close it was, but so far away.
Yeah, he was wide open, but right now he had to throw it, and he didn't know exactly where he was going to be, but if he would have known that now, he would have given a little bit more air.
He could have thrown a pop fly. And Miami's taking a timeout to try to let Jad Dean think about it a little bit. There's the man who won the ball game against Texas A&M. He's trying to stay away from his huddle. He's trying not to think about what's upcoming. And I'm pretty sure he's not thinking about what class he has on Monday morning. He missed from 50. 8 of the last 13 have been decided by 7 points or less in the last 3 minutes. 6-2 over that time for Clemson.
So they've been in a lot of close games.
This is only the 7th time these two teams have met. Of course, they were not conference mates until last year. And last year in Miami, Clemson in overtime, a winner over the Canes. Now they need a kick to send it to overtime to try to win for a second year in a row, only this time on their home field. The spot is going to be at about the 17-yard line. It'll be a 27-yard field goal attempt. Jad Dean has missed only once all year. That was earlier in this game from 50 yards. He also ran for a first down on a fake field goal in last year's win. So he's been involved a lot in this 2-game series the past couple of seasons. Chasing to hold. Dean to try to tie it with a possibility of overtime. Kick on the way, and it is good. Chad Dean from 27 yards has tied us up with 15 seconds remaining in regulation.
The Tigers have scored the last 2 times they've had their hands on the ball. It looked like the Hurricanes offensively kind of closed down operations, shut down it, and just play a little bit conservatively. Here's the kick that ties the game and probably going to send it into overtime.
Jason with a hold, got it down, got it turned. Jeffrey Allen Dean, Jad with a field goal. 20-20.
Bob and Brad's point here, when Charlie Whitehurst had a chance, as you look at Tommy Bowden's reaction, to throw that last pass, yeah, he overthrew it, but you know what? I think it's the intelligence of a fifth-year quarterback. In that situation, you might want to give your receiver a chance to go up for a ball, but not there when you got a chance to kick a field goal to tie it.
Yeah, good
you
point.
err on the side of being very conservative in that situation, so he throws it a little bit longer had it been something he would have in the first quarter.
Well, Swanee, the thing he wanted to do was get rid of the ball also. He did not want to get hit and sacked and fumbled. He wanted to keep it alive, so hang it out there, give him some air, see if he can catch it. You want to get rid of it. You don't want to take a sack or cause a fumble where you might lose the game.
That's right. Make a great play for a touchdown, or we have a good field goal shot.
Dean to kick. Jenkins and Hester deep. And he kicks away deep again, as he did last time, and Hester's got to watch it go. You would assume now that Miami would take a knee and say, let's regroup, see what happens in the extra stanza. They're going to get it at the 20-yard line.
Or try to get it to one of those fast
one shot might be worth it.
Sonoris Moss or one of those quick guys.
So we're down to 15 seconds remaining. And Miami's got its prevent offense in there. Kyle Wright is going to take a knee, and we're going to play overtime. Wow. It's been quite a 4 quarters, but it's not over yet. Number 13, Miami, 20. Number 20, Clemson, 20. That's the end of regulation. An all-important coin toss is coming up for overtime. Our presentation of college football will continue after this from our ABC stations. You're watching ABC Sports Championship Television. Just about set for our first overtime, and Miami and Clemson even at 20 apiece as the coin toss is upcoming. The rules at overtime: teams get equal possession starting at the opponent's 25-yard line with their offense. And you repeat that process until either a tie is broken, and then in the third overtime, you have to go for a 2-point conversion. So those are your overtime rules. Coin toss is pretty important because your choice in this case is that you want to go on defense first all the time to know what your opponent has done with their offense, so you can either match it or try to win it. Miami, their last overtime game, they lost. Clemson has never lost in overtime. And the last Miami loss was to Clemson last year at the Orange Bowl.
In overtime.
Exactly.
So the first 2 times Miami and Clemson play in the ACC, they go to overtime.
And captain's coming out for the coin toss. Tom Zamorski will flip it for us. After 3.5 hours, shake hands and do it again.
That's a tail. That's a hit. Tell me what you're going to call.
Quatron Hill will be the guy to call it.
Let it hit the ground and let it go. Okay. Call the heads. It's a tail. It's a tail. Clemson, you have won the toss. You can choose to go on offense or defense. You want to go on defense. Which end of the field do you want to play on? Okay. All right. So we want to go on this way.
David Dunham
Clemson won the toss.
made the call. They want to play defense. And we'll watch Miami's offense go to work against Clemson's defense in our first overtime when we come back to Death Valley right after this. I'm not sure it can get any louder than it was at the end of regulation. Overtime. at Memorial Stadium in Clemson. First down, Miami at the Tiger 25. Maybe a yard for Tyrone Moss.
Miami goes back to what they were doing when they came out at the second half, and that is going unbalanced line, moved it to the left, tried to run behind those big tackles, Winston and Butler. Clemson has got that act now. They need to do something different. A little play-action pass and hit the fullback out in the flat would be a good idea.
Moss at 100 yards rushing for the day. Second and 9. There's the play fake Bob was talking about. Right, lofts it. Sonoris Moss trapped it. Incomplete. It's third down and 9.
I don't know whether he was throwing that to Hill, the fullback, or to Moss, but they were both there.
And there's a flag down that I did not see in the backfield. That was a one-hopper. Moss nowhere near catching it. I think it's a holding call in the backfield.
Holding, 74 offense. 10 yards from previous spot. Repeat second down.
You got to take the penalty because you don't want to give them a field goal if you can help it.
That's right. That changes Miami's offensive attitude also. You got to open this thing up now.
14th Hurricane penalty.
Yeah, and it's the offensive ones that'll kill you. And that was Winston, the All-American tackle that was injured last year, has not been playing well this year so far.
Second and 19. Looks like they will try to open it up from the shotgun. Kyle Wright down the middle. Finally going to Olsen as tight end, but he only got back near the original line of scrimmage. That's only Olsen's second catch of the day. And he gets it down to the 26. That's not even where they started the drive.
Bob and Brad, when you're talking about penalties, to add insult to injury, it's not just the number. It seems like all afternoon long, the timing of the penalties for Miami has been absolutely horrible. Giving Clemson the ball back, ending a big drive or a big play on their part.
They need something out of this third down, even if it's not a first down, because you don't want to try to kick a field goal from where they are right now. Third down and 11 in overtime. Wright fires, complete to Ryan Moore, and it's a first down at the 7-yard line.
What a big-time throw by Kyle Wright. He struggled most of the day. He struggled a lot 2 weeks ago against Florida State, but there were times in that game, and there have been times here where he has stepped up and made throws just like this one. When the game was on the line, they were going to have to kick a long field goal. Now he got him right back in business.
And now it's first and goal in overtime. Miami's first possession. Clemson will still get a chance.
Offensive line, unbalanced right.
Moss cuts back the other way. Tyrone Moss inside the 5, got down forward progress near the 3. It'll be second down and goal. .20 game in overtime. There's a lot of prayers going on around Memorial Stadium if you're clad in orange and are cheering for the Tigers. The Tigers, who somehow kept their tail in this ball game in a fourth quarter rally in the final 3 minutes to tie the game. Now they're in overtime with the number 13 Canes. Second and goal. Toss sweep. Tyrone Moss behind blockers. He's all alone. Touchdown Miami. So the Canes score first and they get what they wanted, a touchdown.
It's a nice design play. Good blocking up front. And the best thing for the Hurricanes was no holding on anybody, no penalties. That was a big time play when it was third and long to come up with a touchdown.
The third and 11, they got the 20-yard gain, and that set them up to go back to the power. And Quadron Hill, another nice block. Petty's extra point is up and good. So it's 27-20 here in overtime. 27 was the winning score in overtime last year between these two teams. That was for Clemson.
Now the Tigers know what they have to get done. That's why you want to go on defense first. You let the other team take their offense. Now we go out and do our thing. What do we need? Do we need a field goal? Do we need a touchdown? Watch the toss. Butler is 64. Olsen is 82.
Nice seal off over there.
None of the Tigers come out of that mess. The back just runs in untouched.
Olsen and Ortega, the two tight ends, just sort of sealed off that corner, and then Quatrin Hill got another nice block. And that's all she wrote for Tyrone Moss. And now there's a hush in the sellout crowd here, as Charlie Whitehurst and company have to try to come from behind in yet another quarter, this time in overtime. Can they do it 3 weeks in a row plus? As Bob said, they know what they need. First down, Whitehurst. Little pooch pass inside to Merriweather. Merriweather, a guy who scored a touchdown, the winning touchdown in overtime last year.
Who called that play? That was a good play, wasn't it?
Probably Rob Spence.
Yes, sir. Rob's good. You know, they call him the mad scientist. He admires Alex Gibbs. He admires Shanahan, the coach at the Denver Broncos. I said, you ever met these guys? He says, no, I've never met them. He says, but I just watched. I read some of their books. I've just watched them play, and I like the way they play.
Second down and short during a game. There's a lot of things you can do with second down in less than one. I don't know if you do it in overtime. Here comes a blitz. Merriweather, he's got the first down. He's inside the 15 down to the 13. Kenny Phillips made the stop.
There is no clock, so there is no rush in overtime.
Reggie Merriweather, whose starting job lost to the highly touted freshman James Davis, who really couldn't muster any ground game today. And then in the fourth quarter, they came back with the veteran Merriweather, a junior, and he's responded pretty well, and he stays in there right now. It's first down just outside the 13-yard line. Clemson needs a touchdown to tie.
Yeah, the one thing that both sides know that would end this real quick is a turnover.
Empty backfield. Whitehurst, the quick throw. He goes to a freshman of all things, Tyler Grisham. And Kenny Phillips, another freshman out there, number 1, makes the stop. There's two guys that are going to be seeing a lot of each other over the years. Clemson has not turned it over all year. As Bob said, this is where you don't want to do it in a situation like this.
Well, last year they were like 100th in the nation in turnover margin. This year they're 9th.
Whitehurst from the shotgun on 2nd and 5. Here comes the pressure. Charlie throws it. Incomplete.
And a man wide open.
Boeheim's looking for a pass interference call and doesn't get it. And now it's third down. But of course, Clemson knows that they've got 2 downs to do this, to either get a first down or a touchdown.
Yeah. Man coming right at us is wide open. That's Grant.
Oh. And now Clemson's going to take their only timeout of the overtime.
Of course, then the first thing that a receiver does, he'll go back to the quarterback and he'll tell him, hey, I was wide open on that play. And then you look at the tape on Monday or Tuesday to see if he really was. The honest ones were, and then the ones that want the ball, they were close.
Well, last year it went to overtime at the Orange Bowl. You might recall, if you had a chance to see it, Frank Gore, 14-yard touchdown run, put Miami up 17-3 just before halftime. Clemson, a fake field goal. We talked about Jayet Dean. He got a first down. That set up a game-tying 1-yard run by Reggie Merriweather. And then Reggie, in overtime, bangs it in for the winning score, 24-17. As we showed you at the beginning of the game, that's one of the headstones out by the practice field. If you can beat a top 20 team on their home field, they put up the gravestone out by the practice facility. And here in Death Valley, the fans have started about Thursday getting ready for this game. They've gone all day long in full throats. And now here they are in overtime. They're trying to take a little bit of a rest before they realize that their team has 2 downs to either tie this and send it to a second overtime or see Miami pull out a victory.
But Charlie Whitehurst has been in these big situations before. He has beaten Miami last year in the overtime. He has beaten Florida State in his career. He's been a 5th-year senior. He is in his 32nd start of his career, and he is playing well. So I think he enjoys these spots.
Stuckey switches over to the top of your screen now. Out of the shotgun, Whitehurst with time across the middle. It's not going to be good for a first down or a touchdown. It might get him a couple of yards. Thomas Hunter, the tight end. But they're about 2 yards shy of the first down, so the whole ball game comes down to this play.
Yeah, it was good coverage everywhere. He looked into the end zone. There was coverage there, and he had to come off and get rid of it before he get the sack. So this is it. You got to make a first down or a touchdown, or the ball goes over. What is it, 4th and 2?
4th and 2. Whatever your best play is, you don't save it. You don't worry about the second third of the season or the last part of the season. You use it right here. Here's your ball game. Miami leading by a touchdown. Clemson needs either 2 yards or a touchdown to send it to a second overtime, and now Miami takes its first and only timeout.
Well, Miami got a look at the formation, but that also gives Clemson some time to rethink the call that they made on the field.
Well, coming up tonight on ABC, it's the movie of the week. Ben Affleck, Bruce Willis, and Liv Tyler star in Armageddon. Starts at 8 o'clock tonight, 7 Central Time. Now this may not be Armageddon, but it's a pretty important ball game here in the ACC. Heck, we're into prime time, aren't we? Unless my watch is wrong.
What time is it?
It'll be into morning if this thing doesn't get over. Boy, it's been a great game. It's been a lot of fun being here in Clemson since Thursday. The fans, as I said, have been absolutely spectacular. They've packed this place. They've cheered like the old days of Danny Ford and national championships and big games. A lot of ACC championships before Florida State came to the conference, and all the cross-state battles they'd have with the Georgia Bulldogs and all the great games. And now they've got the Miami Hurricanes, the 13th ranked team in the country, in overtime, but they need a big play here.
I think, Brad, one of the special places in all of college football to come.
No doubt.
See the game.
Well, here it is. You either need a first down or a touchdown, or all the orange-clad faithful go home unhappy. Whitehurst in the shotgun. Mayhem in motion across the field. Charlie looking left. Now he's trying to run and throws. Caught! Touchdown! Mayhem somehow snailed it.
He took it away from the Hurricane.
What a catch. And what a gutsy quarterback to hang in and come forward and finally wait for his man. An extra point coming up that is as important as any play of the day. Jad Dean to try to send us to a second overtime. Kick is up and good. There's some tail left in the Tigers.
Now this little scramble right here gives him the time, and gives Bayham the time to move around and get open. Not by much, and he took it away from a Hurricane, but just enough.
Kind of a jump pass by Charlie, too, because he knew he was going to get hit. And Bayham went up in front of Brandon Merriweather and made a sensational catch.
And Bob and Brad, speaking of Hurricanes, it's been a tough couple of weeks for Curtis because he's from New Orleans. And just before Hurricane Katrina hit, his mother had moved to Atlanta and bought a house. And all the family relatives that were displaced by Hurricane Katrina, a lot of them went to Atlanta to stay with her. And he said he had about 4 or 5 cousins that came to stay with him. And he said they were stacked up. And I said, what do you mean stacked up? He says, I got a 1-bedroom apartment with 1 bed and a sofa. But Curtis brought his family in. They stayed there. They're now making plans to be other places. So this is a tough young man who's been through a lot this week, and he's come up with the biggest catch, I think, of his career so far.
I tell you what, it stacks up, Solani, as one of his best, that's for sure. He had 2 touchdown catches last week. He had the long ball catch on the bomb from Charlie Whitehurst in regulation, and now the biggest catch was right there. And it's 27 apiece. We go to the other end.
Well, the thing that I noticed was that Charlie had all the time that he needed to complete that pass. The Miami rush, I think both defensive lines are wearing out. It takes more for a defensive lineman to rush the passer than it does for an offensive lineman to hold him out.
Remember, neither team has a timeout. You only get one in overtime. They both used them. Once to get the right play call, and I think once to catch your breath. And now there won't be any more catching as we head into the second overtime. We come to the other end of the field. And that's Miami's turn again. Charlie Whitehurst, 31 of 51 on the day. 288 yards and 2 touchdowns.
You switch. You switch. Miami's going on defense first. Clemson goes on offense.
So at the 25-yard line, I don't know if all our games next week can be this good. I doubt it, but we'll try. Iowa and Ohio State, or Colorado and Miami at noon. And Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech in the ACC, or Notre Dame and Washington at 3:30 Eastern. Check the local listings for the game in your area. So the Tigers, who just scored, have it back. And now they start at the 25, going the other way. Merriweather trying to stretch out 3 yards on the inside. John Beeson, the linebacker, holding on for dear life. If there's a little bit of a difference as far as when Miami gets the football noise-wise in this place, and it'll get awfully noisy again when they're on offense, but that end of the stadium is totally enclosed. The other end, due to the construction, has a few gaps, but as Swanee said, there's enough noise to go around no matter which way you're heading.
And the fans are very intelligent. They are quiet as a mouse.
They're dead silent right now. Second down and 7. Second overtime, 27 apiece. Empty backfield. Whitehurst throws
down the middle.
Incomplete. Threw it out. Intended for Merriweather, and it was Phillips, the freshman, who's been playing most of this second half back there in that secondary.
Tight end was open right down the middle, but the play was not designed there, so he didn't even look down there. I sound like some of these receivers that come back and tell me, oh, hey, I was open. Yeah, that was after the ball went over one way.
Remember Cole Downer, the starting tight end. He and Williamson, you can almost say they're co-starting tight ends. They play a lot of 2 tight end. But Downer went out after being injured earlier in the ball game, even though he had a touchdown catch today. Now Charlie Weiss is trying to call a timeout. They don't have one. At least I didn't think they did.
I think every timeout, every time you go to a new period, you get another timeout.
So Charlie's right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Their last one in this stanza now. So he'll talk things over on the sideline with a big third down coming up.
You know, Bob, I got to tell you that Whitehurst throwing those flare passes, I think some of those guys will come open, those wide receivers, but I just don't think he believes he has enough time to wait on them.
Well, you might be right, Swanee.
So the huddle on the sideline around the Clemson coaches. They want to get a touchdown here and force Miami's hand, much as Miami did in that first overtime. Remember, if we go through this and we're still tied, then if you get to the third one, it's 2-point conversion time after scoring. Everybody trying to catch their collective breath, and while we do, we'll remind you, don't forget, big doubleheader on Monday nights as ABC and ESPN and the NFL join together to help the victims of Hurricane Katrina. Monday Night Football doubleheader. Giants and Saints start at 7:30. At 9 o'clock, that game moves to ESPN. The regular scheduled game, the Redskins and the Cowboys. Chance to help the Gulf Coast areas and all the folks. We hope you join us on Monday night's special doubleheader. Third down and 7. Whitehurst from the gun, in trouble. Oh boy, that's the last thing you don't want to happen. Now the play's blown dead as Phillips is heading the other way. Orion Harris came with the pressure. And where do they have that spotted? At the, let's see where they walk it off to.
Yeah, he got rid of it. That is a forward pass.
Boy, that is lucky, because the last thing you want to take is a sack. And now the field goal unit will come on. They'll put this down at about the 29-yard line. It'll be a 39-yard field goal attempt. And Jardine 2 for 3 today. This is the biggest one. Everyone, when it gets this late, is the biggest one. Dean to try to give Clemson the lead in a second overtime. And does. Perfect.
He's a solid kicker.
Yes, he is.
You mentioned 6 field goals against A&M a few weeks ago.
30-27 Clemson. Their first lead in a long time, but how precarious a lead it is. With Miami coming back on offense. And now you're going to hear the noise I talked about. A touchdown wins it. A field goal sends it to a third overtime. A turnover ends it. Moss and Moore both to the near side. Tyrone Moss is the tailback in the eye. Draw play. Moss lost a yard or 2. Tremaine Billy made the play along with Charles Bennett. The best case scenario is at least to get about 3 on a play like that so you don't put yourself in a passing situation right away.
Exactly. And the pressure in an overtime is just that much greater than it is during the regular game, because the defense knows that you've got to make some yards and you've got to put up 3 points. If you don't gain any yards, you're putting the pressure on your kicker.
Second down and a long 11. Second overtime. Miami trailing Clemson by 3. Right to throw. Has time. Down the middle. And it's caught by Ryan Moore. What a big-time throw and catch. A pickup of 14.
Kyle Wright has made some big throws near the end of the regulation and into overtime. And none bigger than this one. Top left of your picture. He looks to the right. You saw the free safety run to his right and then comes back to the left.
And look at all the time the offensive line Bob gives him to just get back in the pocket and make that throw.
First down at the 11-yard line. Moss broke a tackle. Got down near the 6. Almost a 5-yard gain. Second down. Now Miami, much like Clemson in the 4th quarter of regulation, can get a first down inside the 1.
Now Clemson, this defense knows if they give up a touchdown, they lose. Because they got 3 points. Miami gets a touchdown, they win.
Second down along 5, just outside the Clemson 6-yard line. Canes trying to win it, and a second overtime. Handoff is Moss, trying to weave his way, battling. He's short of the first down, I think, by about a yard. Needed to get to the 1. He's down at about the 2.
You know, Brett, each week, both of these teams, most college teams have this drill. Overtime, put it on the 25-yard line, and they have some favorite plays that they want to call inside the 25 when you're in overtime. Of course, they have other favorites according to the defense that you're playing, but they work on this each week.
3rd and 1 for a first down. A long 2 for a touchdown and a win. Toss sweep, Tyrone Moss. Behind Quadron Hill. He didn't get there. And I don't think he got the first down either. Now they may have to kick.
Well, they tried the same play that they scored on the last time in overtime, except this time it went to the left. Much better defense this time by Clemson.
Now Miami may take its time out here, and they will, to talk it over. Remember, in the opener on Labor Day night, a chance to tie the game, to send it possibly to overtime. A bad snap, and John Petty never got a chance to kick a field goal to make it 10-10 in that game with the Noles. And now they're thinking about going for the chip shot field goal to send it to a 3rd overtime. Or on the road, do you try for a yard for a first down or 2 to win right here?
It'd be a gutsy call if Coker goes for the win.
2 years in a row, Miami has lost back-to-back games, which seems impossible. We talked about it earlier. 4 of Larry Coker's 7 losses have come in these 4 back-to-back losses. 2 years ago to Virginia Tech and Tennessee, and then last year to North Carolina, and then Clemson in the overtime. Here comes John Petty. So they'll try to make it 30-30.
You know, this is a little bit of an angle. When you get this close, this is not a chip shot because the angle in the NFL, the hash marks are right there where the crossbars are, the uprights.
This is even closer than an extra point. They'll call it a 19-yard field goal to try to send it to a 3rd overtime. The kick is perfect, and we're tied at 30-30.
It's a tougher kick than most would think.
Petty knocks it through, and we'll catch our breath. So will about 84,000 in Death Valley. 3rd overtime coming up. Get, huh? 3rd overtime at Clemson. Brad Nessler, Bob Greasy, Lynn Swan. It's 30-30. And again, the overtime rules, equal possessions at the 25. You've seen that already. The big thing is, in the 3rd overtime now, you've got to go for a 2-point conversion. And now Miami on offense. And the Clemson defense trying to rile their fans down in that end zone.
I think they're going down to the other end.
They're trying to rile everybody up.
They want to play down that end.
I don't blame them. That ain't going to work. We trot down, and as I mentioned, there are a few gaps, but there's still plenty of people down there to make enough noise. There's one of the gaps in the corner of your screen, but there's the majority of folks who have been here since early this morning, and now it's more than early evening.
You know, these offensive coordinators, I think they're probably running out of good plays.
I said earlier, if you got a good one, use it here. They used it.
I think they already used that in the regular game. And then first overtime, used some good ones. 2nd overtime.
Ryan Moore, Sonoris, Moss, the wide receivers. Greg Olson, the tight end. Tyrone Moss, the tailback behind Quatrin Hill. Kyle Wright at the controls. First down, 3rd overtime. End around. Sonoris Moss trying to throw a stiff arm out there, and Clemson saw it coming. C.J. Gaddis knocked him out of bounds, no gain.
Well, they had shown that play, but it faked it to the reverse. This time they gave it to him, and good defense by the Tigers.
So 2nd down and 10. That Clemson defense knows if they can just come up with 2 stops and force a field goal, that's all their offense can ask of them. 2nd and 10 in overtime, number 3. Moss got an opening. Tyrone Moss inside the 15. The 10 down the sideline. Touchdown. He got there on a sensational dive to the pylon. A 25-yard touchdown run.
What a great run and some good blocking on the right side of that Hurricane line, and then the receivers downfield staying with their men.
And Moss down the sideline, got a block from Ryan Moore. Here's another look.
Again, it's unbalanced line for the Miami Hurricanes to the right side, and the 2 receivers down there, Moss and Moore, not blocking big time, but just staying in front of them.
Remember, it's 2-point conversion time. So here's an all-important play for the Clemson defense, too. They'd like to give their offense the opportunity to tie or win in overtime number 3. But they've got to stop this 2-point conversion, or it will put a ton of pressure on the Tigers. Right. Blocked. Incomplete. 36-30. Clemson still has some hope, but now they need a touchdown and a 2. Gaines Adams is the guy that got a hand on it. So Moss got him 6, but they couldn't add 2 more. And the Clemson offense will take over, trailing 36-30.
And again, offenses throughout the week work on their favorite 2-point plays. So that was a play that they didn't have any problems running. They work on those plays all week. They have confidence in that 2-point play. They just didn't execute it.
Charlie Whitehurst had his offense gathered around him. There's Tyrone Moss. What a day. He's been something.
Came in with a little bit of an injury, lower leg, but that hadn't slowed him down much.
Charlie Whitehurst, the senior leader, holder of most of Clemson's passing records, now knows what he needs. Nice play fake. Throws. It's almost caught by Boeheim, but broken up by Kelly Jennings. It was a pretty good looking play.
That was a great looking play.
We've got another overtime apparently going on. Let's check in with John.
Brad, you're right. And Notre Dame had to come back from 3 touchdowns down to force this one to overtime. They get a field goal in OT, and then Jason Teague for Michigan State scores the touchdown. So the Spartans win for the 5th consecutive time in South Bend and knock the Irish from the ranks of the unbeaten 44-41. Brad.
Here, 36-30, John. Clemson trailing with a 2nd down and 10 at the Miami 25 in overtime number 3. Whitehurst pressured, throws, intercepted. It's the ball game. Miami wins it on a turnover. The first of the season suffered by the Tigers, and it's the freshman Kenny Phillips. And the Hurricanes avoid an 0-2 start.
You said it all, Brad. They put some pressure on Whitehurst. He tried to make a play downfield. He overthrew it. And the young freshman comes up with the first interception against Whitehurst on the year.
Well, what a ball game. What a ball game. It's one that, as you can see, Tommy Bowden down on one knee with his law enforcement crew around him is spent. And it's a tough one to take physically, emotionally, everything. And let's check in with a winning coach, Larry Coker with Lynn Swann.
Well, Coach, as tired as I feel, as tired as you feel, is nothing compared to the players. Did you challenge this offensive unit of yours in the second half just to come out and play tougher football?
Well, no doubt about it. We felt like we had to do that. We're struggling with the negative plays. Were just killing us, and really proud of the way our team finished up. And, of course, great effort by the Clemson team also.
Tell me your approach to this overtime.
Well, again, it varies. Obviously, you want to play defense first if you have a choice, and then you know what you need to have. And again, we were moving the ball pretty well, and we felt like we could score, and we just had to hold in.
Kyle Wright showed a lot of poise. His second start for you in this overtime game, hanging in there, and the offensive line finally gave him the time to throw the football.
Well, I think we can do that. I think we'll be fine. But exactly right. I'm really proud of the way we finished the job. And again, we felt like we had the game under control in the 4th quarter. We let it slip away, and then we had to win in the overtimes.
But Clemson didn't make it easy for you today.
Well, no, and we knew they wouldn't. It's a tough place to play, obviously, and they're a good football team. And there's a reason they're 2-0.
Well, Coach, you have a good program. You come away with your first win and your first visit to Death Valley. Congratulations.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Okay. Brad?
Stunned Tommy Bowden, and the folks out there was some concern about him because he's still standing there in disbelief and was down on one knee. It's been that kind of day. Our Chevrolet players of the game today, and they both played their hearts out, as did both these teams. Tyrone Moss, the winning touchdown, 139 yards and 3 scores. Charlie Whitehurst, only 1 mistake at the end. He'd love to have it back, but he played a marvelous game. The 5th-year senior, 288 yards on 55 attempts today. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. That guy ended up with the football at the end. A freshman with an interception for the ages, at least for his young football career. The final score in 3 overtimes from Death Valley. Miami wins it 36-30. The final score, they go to 1-1. Clemson falls to 2-1. For Bob Greasy and Lynn Swann, I'm Brad Nessler saying so long from Clemson. Final score 36-30 as we join John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor in New York.